going back! Of course he came back. It's a ball of undead monsters. There's the banner of our game. We hunt every shiny. Bought one on the bridge. I think I've only aggroed this one. Oh, actually, I do remember. Ow! Oh, I'm not that. Well, that's why we got the Ring of Sacrifice. Man. This guy's hard. Making the announcement right at midnight. Oh man. Hashtag best timeline. You died again. Prove it. Oh. I did walk. Oh, maybe I didn't walk past it. This is okay. This is a dead end. I don't see nothing on the ceiling. Oh, I don't like this one bit. Xanthos ashes. Okay, that is definitely a new thing. Everything's fine. Now we're good. Well, I'm happy. Oh, thanks. Well, at least he won't be a problem. Is it really worth it? I could do it. It wasn't worth it. Oh! Maybe he's been slowly getting corrupted. I don't know what all this sound is, but I don't like it. Oh! Immediately, fart milk in my mouth. And then it was sweet, and I was like, oh, maybe it was just a red herring? And then fart milk in my mouth again! Oh my god. This is right! The DK head comes through again! Return to monkey. We must embrace our true forms. Monkey brain. Return to monkey. Hi everybody. It's happening. Today we are reading a book. Actually 3 books to be totally accurate. But what's up, Tom? What's up, NJ? How y'all fine folks doing today? I'm excited. These are here. Let me grab them before I sip my coffee. And I don't think it's gonna be an all-stream dealio. In fact, I'd be surprised if it does last all stream. This thing is actually weirdly really big in my head, so when I'm not wearing my headphones, the DK head kind of falls off. But these are the books written by Michael Teitelbaum. Teitelbaum. Sounds like a very German name to me, but what do I know? But these sold originally probably in like, oh, what was it called? It's like a little book fair that elementary schools used to do, at least in the Midwest. But these used to sell for $3.50. That's what it says in the back. And then $4.95 in Canadian dollars. Donkey Chris has arrived. I sure have. Are you ready to Kong around? What's up, Tom? How you doing, bud? So these are pretty quick. I mean, like, here, how well can y'all see this if I hold it up like this? So maybe we should, like, jump to zoom cam? Yeah, all right. I mean, that kind of works. So when I show pages, maybe I'll, like, here, maybe I'll even do this. I'll, zoop. That'll be a little bit easier to to show. Yeah, these little. I mean, it's being green screened right now, but we got 3 of these bad boys, and we're doing this because you lovely folks redeemed points to make it happen. Boy, I have so many extra scenes. So I've got little like scenes set up for what I've assumed will be the various settings that take place in these books. Although immediately I have regrets that I already know that I fucked up, because book 2 literally starts on the pirate ship, and I definitely did not do a pirate ship scene. I should have. What a fool. I mean, to be fair, I went back and captured game footage, like raw game footage, because I couldn't find any. Like, you would think that games like, you know, classic Donkey Kong Country have like such good ambiance. You'd think that someone on YouTube would be like 10 hours of DK's treehouse, but no, it's not a thing. I didn't find it anyway. Maybe I should be the one to do it. I'm probably gonna be pretty quick. Yep. I'm not too worried. The text is huge. They're about 60 pages each, and they have illustrations on some pages. It'll be real quick. You lovely folks like to torture me and yourself for some reason. Aquatic Ambience has a 10-hour version, though. That's true. That's one of the ones that I could find, but at a certain point I was like, in classic Donkey Kong, the water level's on the first world, so it didn't take. I basically captured footage off of all the first world locations. That's the sneak peek of the decision making I made, because I didn't have a ton of time, but I figured it would cover most of our bases, because I have it when I have it on when I read. Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense to me. I had to remember that we were talking about the aquatic ambience. But anyway, I guess we could jump into this. I was, you know, putzing around in case more folks wanted to trickle in, because I don't want anyone to miss out on this very, very intense story. I guess we could read the the summary on the back. He lives in a treehouse. ... He's a big hairy guy. ... And boy, does he love bananas. Meet Donkey Kong as he swings out of the video game screen and onto the pages of his very own book. Unfortunately, a horde of evil Kremlings has stolen something precious from Donkey Kong. Now they've disappeared. Can Donkey Kong stop the Kremlings in time? In time for what? Before the bananas spoil? Who knows? All right, let's hop into this bad boy here. Donkey Kong Country. Oh, I see. Also available is Rumble in the Jungle. That's the 3rd book, though, if I'm remembering this right. I guess I could be wrong. Do these have numbers? No, not that I would think that they would, but you never know. Why is that sounding like an erotic novel? You know, right? The beginning, at least, the big hairy guy in the treehouse. Hell yeah. Oh man. Okay. We did a little preview of this, and I should have known. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna change one thing real quick. How do I do this? There we go. I put music on the one scene that I want to use right now. And I know the music won't match for literally the opening scene of this. Of course. Wait. Oh. Wait, is the music actually playing? I have no idea. Okay, so let's change this real quick to... I guess we'll just do... Yeah, you know, this is the intro of the book. So we're gonna do... Did I get my names wrong? Theme, DK Island Swing, Frankie. Maybe it's just this song. I don't know. Okay, we're just gonna do this. You'll find out what the heck I just did in a second. Or not. Story time with Crass. What's up, Tev? Alright. You ready? I suppose I should, like... I can't hear the music because it's not outputting anything. Let me make sure it's playing the right thing. Yeah, alright. Yeah, alright. We're good. Chapter 1. The storm on Donkey Kong Island would not let up. Rain poured down in sheets. Thunder shook the tall trees, and lightning split the sky. On the ground below his treehouse, Donkey Kong stood talking to his little buddy Diddy Kong. Sorry, it's your turn to stand watching such a miserable night, pal, said Donkey Kong. That's okay, replied Diddy. It was just as bad last night when it was your turn to guard the bananas. We just can't afford to let our guard down with those Kremlings, Donkey Kong explained. The Kremlings were evil creatures who had come to live on Donkey Kong Island. Their factory polluted the island's air, and lately they had been stealing food supplies from the island's many inhabitants. Don't worry about me, Diddy said. I'll guard our bananas with my life. You can sleep soundly with Diddy Kong on patrol. Thanks, kid, said Donkey Kong, giving his young friend a gentle pat on the head. You're gonna make me proud. Donkey Kong climbed up his treehouse, curled up into bed, and listened to the pounding rain and the wind lashing against his roof. He soon drifted off into a deep sleep. In the stormy jungle below, Diddy Kong stood watch in front of the banana storehouse. I'm gonna make Donkey Kong proud of me, Diddy repeated himself. Donkey Kong was Diddy's idol. He wanted to be just like the big monkey when he grew up. Diddy figured that standing guard against the Kremlings on a terrible stormy night was a good way to act like his hero. Right here, we've got a little illustration here. It's Diddy talking to DK. There we go. That's, oh gosh. There we go. A little bit better. Alright, back to our stormy jungle. Suddenly, Diddy heard a sound. It was not easy to overhear, or to hear over the noisy storm, but Diddy thought it sounded like footsteps in the jungle brush. Halt! Who goes there? Diddy shouted. There was no reply. A few moments passed, then Diddy heard this sound again. Footsteps, he thought. It's definitely footsteps. A knot formed in Diddy's stomach. His hands began to shake. Stay calm, he said to himself. Donkey Kong would be brave in this situation, and so I'm going to be brave too. Diddy stood up straight and shouted in his loudest voice, I'm the brave Diddy Kong! Show yourself if you are friendly! If you're not, then get ready for the fight of your life! Again, Diddy got no answer. He began to doubt himself. Could I just be imagining the footsteps? Maybe it's nothing at all. Just as Diddy convinced himself that the footsteps were only his imagination, a horde of Kremlings leapt from the bushes. The fight of our lives! Oh, the fight of our lives, eh? Ha 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 ha! Cackled Clump, the leader of the group. How foolish of Donkey Kong to leave his precious bananas guarded by a mere child. Well, I'm no child, yelled Diddy Kong. I'm as tough as Donkey Kong, and I'll prove it. I'm afraid this is exactly what you're gonna have to do, monkey, Clump said. Then he screamed, Kremlings, dispose of this pest! The two Kremlings raced at Diddy from opposite directions. He reacted quickly. Just as the Kremlings reached him, Diddy jumped straight into the air. Diddy was a great jumper. In fact, he could jump higher and farther than even Donkey Kong. The two Kremlings crashed into each other right at the spot where Diddy had been standing. Diddy came down on the head of another Kremling, startling the evil creature. "I told you, Krem bums, I'm tough," shouted Diddy. Meanwhile, a short distance away, Donkey Kong slept soundly in his treehouse. The sounds of the struggle were drowned out by the noise of the raging storm. Back at the banana storehouse, Diddy started his favorite move, the cartwheel attack. He sprang off his hands and spun feet first into Clump. The Kremling leader fell to the ground. 2 more Kremlings dove at Diddy, who grabbed a vine and swung out of reach. Diddy fought fiercely, giving the Kremlings a tough battle, but he was outnumbered. Finally, 5 Kremlings attacked Diddy at once, wrestling the squirming monkey to the ground. The Kremlings stuffed Diddy into a barrel. Clump took the barrel and kicked it high into the air. "Have a nice trip, little monkey," ha 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 ha, he laughed. The barrel soared far across the jungle, landing with a thud in a patch of dense vegetation. Inside the barrel, Diddy Kong was knocked out. "Quickly!" shouted Clump. "We have wasted too much time here already. That mini monkey was more trouble than I expected. We must take the bananas and be gone." Here's a nice little illustration of Clump kicking Diddy in the barrel. "Yo, what's up, Skip? How's it going, friend?" All right, back to our rain scene. Two Kremlings lifted a huge tree trunk and ran toward the banana storehouse. Using the tree as a battering ram, they crashed through the storehouse door, smashing it to bits. As Clump stepped inside the storehouse, his scaly mouth began to water. Before him stood piles and piles of fresh, ripe bananas. "Hurry!" shouted Clump. "Load the carts!" The Kremlings took everything in the storehouse and piled it all onto their Kremling carts. They hurried out of the jungle, taking with them the Kong's precious stash of bananas. All right, we're chapter 2. We're looking at... By the next morning, the storm had let up. Donkey Kong awakened to the gentle sounds of the jungle morning. Birds calling, hippos splashing, and monkeys of all types chattering as they swung from vine to vine. Donkey Kong yawned and stretched. "Oh, I'd better go see Diddy," he said to himself as he slipped out of bed. "I'm sure the little guy did just fine." Donkey Kong climbed down from his treehouse and made his way along the damp jungle floor. When he reached the banana storehouse, he stopped short. He stood before the smashed door in shock. Rushing in, he discovered that the Kong's entire food supply was gone. There was no sign of Diddy Kong. Here, let's change to the jungle, because now DK is outside. "Diddy!" shouted Donkey Kong. "Diddy, where are you? What happened?" His voice echoed through the jungle. Donkey Kong was frantic. The Kremlings must have staged a banana raid last night, thought Donkey Kong, pacing back and forth. "Why didn't I take the watch last night? If everything has happened to Diddy, or if anything has happened to Diddy, I'll never forgive myself. I've got to go find him," he said aloud. "Find whom?" came a rough voice from behind Donkey Kong. "What in the name of monkey business is going on here?" Ignore that Diddy's here. Where was I? It was Cranky Kong, Donkey Kong's granddad. "Holy monkey madness! Will you just look at that?" said Cranky. "Looks like the Kremlings made off with all our bananas." "Hi, Pops," said Donkey Kong. "Do you hi, Pops me?" Cranky snapped. "Can't you ever do anything right? It's your responsibility to guard the bananas. That's the trouble with the younger generation today. No sense of responsibility. Why, in my day, we would..." "Pops," interrupted Donkey Kong. "We don't have time for this now." "Don't tell me what we have time for, whippersnapper," replied Cranky. "Why, when you were just a boy..." "Pops, listen," Donkey Kong tried again. "Diddy was on guard last night. Now he's gone. The Kremlings must have taken him along with our bananas. I've got to save him." "Now wait just a fine swinging minute," said Cranky Kong.
If you think I'm gonna let you rush off on some dangerous adventure all alone, then you've got another thing coming. You'd probably just botch the whole mission. Anyway, you need my experience if you're gonna rescue Diddy and get our bananas back. Did I ever tell you about the time I single-handedly saved 14 gorillas from the
Pops! Donkey Kong cried impatiently.
All right,
Cranky said.
That's the trouble with youth. They're always in a hurry.
Donkey Kong and Cranky Kong set off together on their mission to rescue Diddy and the stolen bananas. Here we'll go back to the jungle. Hey, what's up, Vulcan? Cranky is the best. Donkey Kong brought... Oh, wait, I almost forgot. Here's a little illustration of Cranky yelling at Donkey Kong.
Wooden Nation.
We should have voice acting tag on the stream. Ooh, that's not a bad idea. Except I'm not a real voice actor, but I guess I could, I guess it still kind of counts. I didn't even consider that. Let's see. No spoilers. You know, we'll say no backseating allowed because there's no... Or we'll remove the backseating allowed because there's no backseating that could even happen here. Thanks for that suggestion, Tev. That's a good one. Woo. Take a little swig. Ah. Okay, let's see. Where were we? Donkey Kong and Cranky Kong set off together on their mission to rescue Diddy and the stolen bananas. Donkey Kong brought a backpack filled with all types of special miniature barrels. These barrels had special properties that would be useful against any enemies. I want to be prepared when we battle the Kremlings, he explained.
That's the first smart thing you've said all day,
Cranky snorted. Donkey Kong and Cranky Kong headed deep into the jungle. They followed the trail that had been left by the heavy wheels of the Kremling carts as they rolled away with the Kong's bananas. Suddenly, a barrel came rolling along from behind them. It struck both Donkey Kong and Cranky Kong on the backs of their legs, knocking them both off their feet. Whoa! Donkey Kong shouted as he hit the ground.
What in the name of monkey madness is the big idea?
Yelled Cranky, landing with a groan. Two Kremlings stepped out from behind a large tree, laughing.
There's two dopey Kongs with one barrel,
smirked one of the Kremlings. One of the Kremlings sprang on top of Donkey Kong. As Donkey Kong and the Kremling wrestled on the jungle floor, Cranky heard a tiny voice coming from the barrel. Then the other Kremling grabbed Cranky by the arms.
Get your scaly hands off me,
Cranky shouted, but the Kremling just held him tightly and laughed. Suddenly, a huge four-legged beast came crashing through the dense jungle. Rambi! Oh my gosh. Wait. Oh, I have a scene with Rambi, but it's not the jungle. Exclaimed Donkey Kong, spotting his pal Rambi the Rhino as he pried the Kremling's fingers from his face. Rambi was an immense rhinoceros with a giant head and an enormous horn. Rambi loved nothing more than smashing into Kremlings while running at top speed. Rambi charged right at the Kremling on top of Donkey Kong. He bashed the Kremling, sending him flying across the jungle. At that, the Kremling who had grabbed Cranky released the older monkey and began to run. Rambi charged and caught him with a few seconds later, bashing him into the air and across the jungle too. Thanks, Rambi, Donkey Kong said, getting to his feet, brushing himself off.
Oh, if there's anything I can't stand, it's Kremlings,
said Rambi.
They're all over the jungle. Those two are the 8th and 9th Kremlings I've bashed today.
They gave us quite a surprise, Donkey Kong told him.
Well, there's another surprise for ya,
said Cranky. Right next to Cranky stood Diddy Kong. We got a nice little illustration here too of Rambi bashing the Kremling off of DK. No backseating, says you. Voice act better. What's up, Skip? Wait, did I say hi? Oh, I did say hi, but oh, going good. Finished Mega Man Ram hack tonight on stream. Nice. Oh man. Oh, I'm still in this scene. Ooh, let me fix it. I was sad that I missed this one because I think I was off running around trying to get my fitness time in. But I saw your stream last week, Skip, and I was having a good time in there. The legendary double lurk. What's up, Chad? Not a real voice actor, but you play one online. That's true. There you go. Okay, we are on Chapter 3. Yeah, we're still in the jungle. Diddy! Exclaimed Donkey Kong, rushing over to his friend. How did you get here? Are you alright? Well, I'm fine, Diddy Kong answered.
I found him right in this barrel that the Kremlings rolled at us,
explained Cranky. Well, I'm sorry I let you down, Donkey, said Diddy, lowering his eyes. I fought hard to save our bananas from the Kremlings, but there were too many of them. You did your best, kid, said Donkey Kong. After all, not everyone can be me.
Thank the maker of monkeys for that,
Cranky Kong exclaimed.
Now, are we going to stand around all day feeling sorry for ourselves, or are we going to go get our bananas back?
Cranky turned and continued into the jungle. The others followed. We'll get our bananas back, you'll see, Diddy said as they picked up the trail left by the Kremling carts. Next time I meet one of those Kremlings, I'll hit them with a double-speed cartwheel. That'll knock them right off their feet.
I'm afraid getting your bananas back won't solve all the problems on the island,
said Rambi, who now accompanied them on their journey through the jungle. You must be talking about the Kremling factory, said Donkey Kong. I've heard about it, but I've never seen it.
Exactly,
Rambi replied.
That horrible place is polluting all our air and soil. Soon no one will be able to grow any food or even breathe on this island. Something's got to be done about that factory.
Cranky Kong spoke up.
In my day, we didn't go around whining about our problems. We took action.
I've got some mini TNT barrels with me, said Donkey Kong. I say we go blow up that factory and get our bananas back.
That won't be easy, said Rambi. The factory is run by King K. Rool, the supreme leader of the Kremlings. He's the biggest and meanest Kremling that ever lived. Even the other Kremlings fear him.
It sounds like it's him or us, Donkey, said Diddy. Otherwise the island will get too polluted to live here anymore. I say we go for it.
I'm with the youngster,
Cranky said.
Let's give those chrome bums a good old-fashioned monkey barrel full of trouble.
It will be a long and dangerous journey, said Randy. We'll have to slip past the treetop village. It's been taken over by Kremlings and they're ready to ambush anyone who goes past. I'll stay with you until we reach the edge of the jungle and help you get by there. I just want to know who's talking. Wait. Oh, maybe this is still Rambi. Then you'll have to make it over the snowy mountains in order to reach the Kremlings factory. You'll be running into enemies at every turn, and not just Kremlings. As I'm sure you know, there are plenty of other nasty creatures on the island. But if you're lucky, you may meet a friend or two along the way. Diddy felt frightened. The thought of battling more Kremlings and who knew what else made him wish that he was back in his own comfortable treehouse. He looked up at Donkey Kong, who smiled and patted Diddy on the head. You okay, little buddy? Donkey Kong asked. Are you ready for this adventure? I'm ready for anything you are, replied Diddy. Then he thought, I can't let Donkey Kong know I'm scared. I've got to be as brave as he is. The group moved through the jungle. They soon reached the abandoned treetop village with its wooden platforms and huts built on a high great tree. It had once been an active jungle community, but when the Kremlings began their assault on Donkey Kong Island, the original inhabitants had left, leaving Treetop Village deserted and dangerous. We've got to be quiet, whispered Rambi. Move quickly and silently, and maybe we can slip past.
Treetop Village was also filthy. Its platforms and huts were now cracked and damaged. Garbage was thrown all around the jungle floor. Kremlings simply tossed it down from the platforms above. One by one, Rambi, Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, and Cranky Kong tiptoed single file right under the village. Cranky lagged behind, moving slowly. He was moaning and complaining as he went.
Will you just look at this mess?
He said as he stepped through the garbage, trying to keep his voice down, but not doing a good job of it.
These Kremlings are pigs!
Keep your voice down and hurry up, Pops, Donkey Kong whispered.
Don't tell me to hurry up, whippersnapper,
yelled Cranky.
Why, I was walking these jungles before you were even.
Donkey Kong, Diddy, and Rambi turned toward Cranky. Shh, they all said at once, but it was too late. On the high platforms above, the Kremlings heard Cranky shout. An alarm sounded, and the Kremlings scrambled across the platform, screaming at each other and loading their barrel cannons. Donkey Kong heard several loud booms from above. The Kremlings are firing their barrel cannons, shouted Rambi. Donkey Kong looked up and saw a barrel hurtling right at them. Got a nice little illustration here. Donkey Kong getting pelted by a giant barrel. What's wrong with me? I'm eating chips with ketchup flavor and I enjoy them more than I should. Unforgivable. I can't believe you would do that. Chapter 4. Donkey Kong moved swiftly. He grabbed Cranky, pulling him out of the way. The barrel hit the ground, just missing the two Kongs. The Kremlings continued firing their cannons at Rambi and the Kongs from the treetop platforms. Barrels rained down around them. Cranky ran for cover in the thick jungle growth. Rambi butted away the barrels that came near him with his big head. Donkey Kong and Diddy used their best moves to avoid getting hit by the high-speed barrels. Donkey Kong ran, grabbed a vine, and swung out of the way of a swiftly moving barrel. Diddy jumped high into the air, then cartwheeled away from the barrel that narrowly missed him.
I have an idea,
shouted Rambi.
Stand back!
The powerful rhino charged at the tree from which the Kremlings were firing their cannons. Rambi rammed into the base of the tree at top speed. The huge tree shook from bottom to top. Kremlings came flying out of the treetop village, crashing onto the jungle floor. Let's leave them a little taste of their own medicine, said Donkey Kong. I'm right with you, Donkey, Diddy Kong replied. The two Kongs picked up the barrels that had been fired at them and furiously flung them back at the startled Kremlings. Here, catch! Donkey Kong shouted as he threw a barrel with all his strength. The barrel knocked over the three Kremlings at once. Nice shot, said Diddy. He lifted the barrel to his chest and heaved it, flattening a Kremling who had just gotten to his feet. The remaining Kremlings fled from the treetop village in fear now that they were unable to do battle from the safety of their perches.
Cowards!
Shouted Cranky, waving his walking stick at the retreating Kremlings.
Look at them run! Come back, you yellow-bellied lizards! I'll fight you one at a time!
Calm down, Pops, said Donkey Kong.
Don't tell me to calm down,
snapped back Cranky.
I know how to deal with cowards. Why, when I was your age, I once fought 5 crocodiles single-handedly. I remember it was a day something like this. I had...
Pops! Donkey Kong interrupted, rolling his eyes. It's time to get going. The group moved and soon came to the edge of the jungle. Ahead of them stood a chain of tall, snow-capped mountains. This is as far as I go, Rambi said. You'll have to make it over those mountains in order to get the Kremlings to the Kremlings factory. Be careful and good luck. Thanks for your help, Rambi, said Donkey Kong. Rambi turned and galloped back into the jungle. The three Kongs were once again on their own. The Kongs left the jungle and began their climb up the mountain. Not gonna work perfectly, but is it this one? Of course, this is the one with Rambi. He didn't come with. Don't ignore him. This is the one downside of me not reading this book ahead of time. The higher they climbed, the colder it got. The ground grew slick with ice and snow. The traveling became more difficult, and Cranky complained more and more.
Blasted baboon bottoms!
whined Cranky Kong.
This is a fine thing for an old monkey to be doing, slipping and sliding up the side of a treacherous mountain. This is about as bad as we can get.
Without warning, a terrible blizzard struck. Driving wind and blinding snow whipped the Kongs as they struggled to continue their climb.
So I was wrong.
Cranky yelled.
It got worse.
What are we gonna do? Asked Diddy, no longer able to hide the fear in his voice. I don't know, replied Donkey Kong. I can't see 2 inches in front of my face. Ooh, we got a nice illustration. This is them hanging on for dear life while the wind is blowing them away. Kind of funny when there are books when reading is the last thing I expect DK to be doing. I know, right? Suddenly, a familiar voice called out from above. Donkey Kong! It was Donkey Kong's friend, Espresso the ostrich. Espresso! Donkey Kong yelled, trying to be heard over the wind. What are you doing up here?
I was camping in the mountains, replied Espresso. You guys look like you could use a hand. Actually, a foot. Well, really 2 feet. Wearing my shore grip sneakers. Hang on, I'll drop down some rope.
Espresso lowered a long rope down the side of the mountain. Donkey Kong, Cranky, and Diddy all grabbed the rope, holding on for dear life.
Hang on, shouted Espresso. Here we go!
Espresso's shore grip sneakers gave him the traction the barefooted monkeys didn't have. The ostrich's powerful legs helped him pull the 3 Kongs up the mountain until they reached the ledge on which Espresso was standing. In front of them, in the side of the mountain, was the entrance to an ice cave. All right, this kind of worked then, the scene. I forgot what song I'm playing in the background though.
Let's duck into this cave,
said Espresso. When everyone was safely on the ledge,
it will get us out of the storm.
As they settled down for a rest, the Kongs thanked Espresso for saving them.
What are you jungle folks doing up here in the mountains?
Asked Espresso. Donkey Kong explained about their mission to destroy the Kremling's factory and recover their stolen bananas. Did you hear something? Asked Diddy Kong a few minutes later.
Yes,
said Espresso.
It sounded like my wings flapping, and I know that wasn't my wings.
The flapping noise came again. Suddenly, Necky and Mini Necky, 2 evil vultures who lived in the ice caves, appeared. They began to take coconuts from their backpacks and throw them at Espresso and the Kongs. Oh, there's so little in this illustration. I like that Cranky got hit right in the head. Chapter 5. We're more than halfway through the book.
Ouch! Ouch!
Cranky cried as coconuts bonked him on the head. There it is.
Get out of our cave!
Squawked Necky as he flung another coconut at Donkey Kong.
No jungle dwellers allowed in here!
Donkey Kong reacted quickly. Dodging the flying coconut, he opened his backpack and pulled out 2 of the miniature barrel cannons that he had packed at the beginning of the trip. Here you go, Diddy, he called, tossing one of the cannons to his little pal. It's time to play catch with these overgrown turkeys. Mini Necky flung a coconut at Donkey Kong, who caught it in his barrel cannon. Donkey Kong fired the cannon, shooting the coconut right back at the vulture. So wait, okay, hold on a second. This is important. This book came out in... what was it, 90... shoot, it's here somewhere. I think it's... oh, I have no idea. So, what I want to figure out is, did Michael Teitelbaum invent the coconut gun before Rare did? Because that would be amazing. I guess the barrel cannon are a thing, though, that some of the Kremlings use. So, you know what, maybe that's what they're referencing. Because I'm thinking of the coconut gun that DK uses. But no, okay, I bet you it's...
What are you doing? Have you lost your mind?
What are you doing? Have you lost your mind?
Chris Panic.
What's up, Kavika? Aloha, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Ooh. Percent? Wait. Oh, it must just be a weird Streamlabs chatbot thing. 40 gosh dang months though. Goodness gracious. Thank you so much for 40 months of support, Kavika. I hope you're doing well. And you got here just in time for the good stuff. Okay, where were we? Donkey Kong fired the cannon, shooting the coconut right back at the vulture. "Ah!" squawked the bird when the coconut struck him in the wing. "I get the idea," said Diddy. He, too, began catching coconuts in the miniature barrel cannon and firing them back at the vultures. "Let's go!" squawked Neki, who was not used to having his coconuts fired back in his direction. He and Mini Neki flew out of the cave. "Well, we took care of those guys." Said Diddy Kong. "We sure did," Donkey Kong said, smiling.
If you two can stop congratulating yourselves for a second,
said Cranky.
maybe you could tell me how we're gonna get over these mountains to the Kremling's factory.
Before they could answer, Espresso said,
Actually, you don't have to go over the mountains. You can go through them using these caves in the old abandoned mines.
Espresso pointed the monkeys in the right direction. "Thanks for the rescue, Espresso," said Donkey Kong. The ostrich nodded and then left the cave, heading back to the campsite. The Kongs proceeded deeper into the cave, walking along narrow, twisting passageways. They soon came to a steep, slippery slope. The three monkeys stood at the edge of this slope, peering down into the darkness below.
How in the vine-swinging jungle are we gonna get down there?
Cranky asked.
Not that I even want to go down there in the first place.
"We have no choice," explained Donkey Kong. "We can't turn back. This is the only way forward." "Hey, Donkey," Diddy called. "Look what I found." Next to a wall at the top of the slope stood a stack of old tires. "I bet we could ride down on these," said Diddy Kong. "I think you've got something there," Donkey Kong responded.
I'll tell you what you've got.
Cried Cranky.
You've got an idea that's about as bright as a burnt-out bulb.
"Come on, Pops," said Donkey Kong. "It won't be so bad. Grab a tire, hop on, and hold tight." The Kongs each took a tire from the pile. They sat on the tires on the top of the slope. "Here we go!" shouted Donkey Kong as he launched himself over the ledge. "Last one down's a Kremling!" yelled Diddy as he started sliding down the slope.
Blasted baboon bottoms!
Cranky Kong cried as he pushed himself off.
I'm too old for this!
The Kongs flew down the slope on their tires at high speed. "This is cool," said Diddy as the air rushed past his face. At the bottom of the slope, the Kongs came skidding to a halt right in front of the entrance to the abandoned mines. Espresso had told them that Espresso had told them to look for.
What new horror do we have to go through now?
Cranky moaned as he shakily got off his tire. The old mine tunnels were dark and damp. Donkey Kong led the way, feeling along the walls to guide himself. "Diddy, you hold my hand," said Donkey Kong. "Pops, you hang onto Diddy's tail so we stay together."
Great,
grumbled Cranky.
Walking through the dark on slippery rocks holding a little monkey's tail. Sounds like fun to me.
As the Kongs made their way through the old mine tunnels, Donkey Kong spotted a light up ahead. "What's that?" asked Diddy. "I'm not sure," replied Donkey Kong as the light came toward them.
Squawk!
Came the sound from the direction of the light. A few seconds later, a bright green parrot appeared, carrying a high-powered flashlight.
You folks look like you could use a little light,
said the parrot.
I'm Squawks, the parrot. I live in the darkest level of the old mine.
Donkey Kong introduced his group and described their mission.
You're in luck,
said Squawks.
I know a shortcut through the mines that'll lead you right to the Kremling factory. Follow me.
Squawks led the way with his trusty flashlight, and the Kongs followed close behind. But they soon came around a sharp bend. Squawks' light revealed Slippa the snake and Army the armadillo, two of Donkey Kong's cave-dwelling enemies. "These mines are ours," hissed Slippa. Then he slithered forward to attack Diddy. Going good? Just at home hanging out? Hey, nice! I'm glad that you get some nice chill time. This is a good idea for a level, actually using the tires as a toboggan. Yeah, right! I'd be down for that. All right, we've got another illustration to start things off. This is of Slippa in Army. All right, back into the caves. Chapter 6. Diddy Kong reacted quickly, jumping into the air and landing on Slippa with his famous double jump. Diddy doesn't have a double jump. Wait, what? What? You're making this up! The evil snake scurried back into the darkness. Meanwhile, Donkey Kong pulled a barrel from the collection of special barrels in his backpack and heaved it at Army. The evil armadillo curled up into a ball to protect himself from the attack, but the force of the barrel knocked him far down the tunnel.
Come on, said Squawks. The shortcut's not far from here.
The group soon came to a set of tracks. On the tracks sat an old mining cart. Who said? Oh, this is probably Squawks. Yeah.
The back entrance to the Kremling's factory is on the other end of these tracks,
Squawks explained.
Years ago, before the Kremlings took over the factory, the miners used to load their ore into the mining carts and then roll them right into the factory for processing. I think all three of you should fit into the cart. It may be a rough ride, but it'll lead you right to the back door of the factory.
Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong climbed into the rickety old mining cart. Cranky stood next to it with his arms folded in disgust.
You don't actually expect me to get into that thing, do you?
He asked.
I had more than enough wild rides for one day.
Come on, Pops, said Donkey Kong. We've come this far.
I'm gonna regret this,
groaned Cranky as he climbed next to the others. Thanks for all your help, Squawks, said Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
grumbled Cranky Kong.
Thanks for helping us get killed.
Cranky's the best.
Good luck at the factory,
replied Squawks. Then he flew off. Again, nice. Oh gosh, this is a good one. Got a nice little illustration of them in the minecart with Cranky right here, just like cowering. Donkey Kong released the brake and the cart rolled forward. Whoa! The Kong shouted as the old cart sped up and bounced along the rickety old tracks. They plunged down the steep drops and swung around sharp bends as if they were on a roller coaster that was out of control.
If we ever get home,
Cranky cried,
remind me to never get out of bed again!
Soon the cart left the mine and came crashing to a halt. The three Kongs were thrown from the cart by the sudden stop and went tumbling over each other. They landed in a heap right at the back door of the Kremling's factory. Is everyone all right? Asked Donkey Kong.
Never been better,
moaned Cranky.
Of course I may never walk again, but...
I'm okay, said Diddy, and I'm ready to get those Kremlings. Donkey Kong examined the back door to the factory. It had not been used in so many years that the locks and hinges were rusted and broken. He gripped the door with his powerful hands and yanked with all his might. The old door came right off its hinges. Let's go, he whispered as they slipped inside. The Kremling factory was a dark, foul-smelling place. The sound of machinery filled the air, and the smell of fumes made the three monkeys cough. Let's see, do I have a good scene for this? I don't really. But you know what, we'll switch it up by going to cave number 2. It looks worse, right? Yo! Donnie! How's the rest of Judgment? Also, did you beat it? I feel like you've been playing Judgment for a hot second now. But welcome on in, everyone. Here, we're gonna go back to the normal cam just to chill for a sec. I had this book when I was a kid. Oh, nice! How's it going, Robanian? Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Boy, reading has now made me incapable of reading. I remember ordering it through the Scholastic. That's what I was trying. Okay, I was like, this totally feels like a Scholastic book, and I couldn't remember the name of it. But yeah, I didn't even know these books existed until we started doing the Chronostream. Well, welcome on in, folks. Already here, but rating 2. Ah, yeah. The raid's coming from the inside of the house. Oh wait, I gotta give Tony a shout out. Maybe it'll be a clip that I made. That's how you know it'll be a good one.
Alright, close your eyes.
Okay, I trust you.
But like relax them. Like be relaxed. Pretend you're at a spa.
I like your relaxed face, Tony. It's very relaxed. Y'all should go hang out with Tony. If you have no idea who he is, he's an absolute gem. And also my business partner. And also, he's my co-host. He shows up here on Tuesdays, right in this chair, right here. That's why we have 2 chairs in the studio. One is for my puppy, and the other one is for Tony. I'm not included in this picture. We're on week 8, maybe 9. Probably got another 5 to 6 weeks. Wow, dang! Robo Nyan. Oh, boy, that makes a lot more sense now that you've spelled that out for me, Chad. That is why I clipped that one. Yeah, oh, it's amazing. It's perfect. Yeah, everyone made fun of it. As well they should. Biz partners. Gonna go find my phone real quick. Wow. Raid and run over here, Tony. Doing a real quick look. Rudest dudest over here. Well, anyway, welcome on in, folks. We are doing a little Donkey Kong reading stream before we jump into the next Donkey Kong game. If you've never been here before, we do Chronostream. So we play through entire franchises in chronological order. And we had a little point challenge to see if folks wanted me to pick up these books and do a little reading stream. And we hit that goal pretty dang quick, actually. So we've got, this is the first book out of the 3. We've got 2 more of these bad boys to go. And, you know, at most this will only take half the stream, and then we'll be jumping into Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze after this, which, boy howdy, I didn't think we'd get here so quick. Donkey Kong manga? Nah, well, you know, we do have some cool illustrations on here, but this is like a proper, like, kid's book. Also, what's up, Sonic? Thank you, shithead. You're what you said. Well, you know, I gotta give you trouble as much as I can. all right. You know, I'm gonna drink some water. Coffee doesn't really soothe the throat much. Need the Amazon link for them? For these? I can share them. I mean, I bought these on eBay. These have been out of print for probably like a decade and a half at the earliest. Well, or at the least. I'm not sure what the right way to say that. They might have been out of print longer. I have no idea. But you know, they're not. The only one that's difficult to find is the second book. And I have no idea why. But like, I bought all these for like $5, except for this one. I had to pay like $15 for, which is a lot for, you know, a little kid's book. But you know, it's fun. I love the music in the background. I wish I had more, to be totally honest. We've already had a couple of moments where I'm like, oh man, I wish I had a scene for this. But yeah, it's how it goes. Got mine in 97, pretty sure it came out with the cartoon. That would make a lot of sense to me. That makes a ton of sense. Which is also the late 90s, yeah. And we watched the cartoon on stream too. That was a time in our lives that we shared together. Cartoon may be a cursed thing. It's really good. Yeah, 97, 98. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So maybe 2 decades it's been out of print. It's just hard to know how long they ran the print cycle, but I feel like they probably stopped printing them pretty quickly. But who knows? Maybe these were more popular than I realized. If I knew about them as a kid, I probably would have wanted to pick it up. Let's see, where are we? They just slipped inside the Kremling factory. Love to grown up. We're old. Yeah, we are old, Tony. We're so well, we're not that old. We're only like 30. Although I'll be 32 in a little bit. In like a month and a half, give or take. The Kremling factory was a dark, foul-smelling place. The sound of machinery filled the air, and the smell of fumes made the 3 monkeys cough. "This is the junk they're putting into our air," said Donkey Kong. "Okay, here's the plan. I brought enough TNT barrels to bring this whole place down. Diddy, you take some. Pops, you take a few more. We'll sneak around the factory planting TNT barrels every few feet. Then we'll meet back here. Everyone agreed. Even Cranky went along without a fuss. The three Kongs were soon placing the highly explosive TNT barrels all around the factory. When Donkey Kong was almost finished, he heard two voices coming from behind a large machine. He crouched down in a corner and listened.
Where's King K. Rool?
Asked a giant, Bumblebee, with big white eyes.
He's supposed to be at the factory today. Claptrap?
Claptrap. I think Claptrap is the, like, guy.
Well, he's not here, Zinger.
Replied a small Kremling with a long mouth and huge teeth. Yep, I was right.
He's the boss. He can do what he likes.
Just because this factory is his and he thought up a banana stealing scheme doesn't mean he can ignore us,
said Zinger. They didn't really add the extra Z's in there, but I wanted to.
He's brought the bananas to his headquarters on Gangplank Galleon, the Kremling ship,
Claptrap said.
He's at sea. We can't reach him even if we...
Claptrap stopped short and turned in Donkey Kong's direction.
There's someone here,
he shouted. Donkey Kong stood up to run, but Zinger buzzed him, missing his head by only inches. Claptrap raced right at Donkey Kong. His mouth was wide open, revealing his sharp teeth.
Okay, no.
Okay.
Here's a puppy.
Come hang out with me, puppy dog. Be my co-host.
Hi.
Oh,
He
good.
pooped. Not much.
Good. Yeah.
Buddy, have fun.
He's gonna get up as soon as you go through the door.
Yeah. Nice hat.
Thanks. I thought it was on theme.
It's perfect. I wouldn't change it. Hi, everybody. Bye, everybody. Later.
Bye, have fun.
Yeah. Hi, baby.
DK doing legit sabotage to these Kremlings. I know, right? Isn't it ridiculous? Ban the book. DK is encouraging our kids to be terrorists. I mean, you know, as long as they're not teaching them how to use TNT, maybe it's... that would be really funny, actually. I don't know if you could hear Jen, but she said hi and bye to everyone. That was Candy Kong. It's true. It definitely was. Shoot, I lost my spot. I think I was on this page. Yes. Claptrap raced right at Donkey Kong. His mouth was wide open, revealing his sharp teeth. From out of nowhere came Diddy Kong, cartwheeling at double speed. He spun right into Claptrap, knocking him across the factory floor. Donkey Kong turned and slammed Zinger with his powerful hand slap attack, stunning the giant bee. Except, you can't cartwheel into Claptrap. He hurt. Well, maybe if you hit him from behind. Thanks for the save, Diddy, said Donkey Kong. I was on my way back to meet you when I heard those guys talking, explained Diddy. I saw them attack, so I came right over. Are all your TNT barrels planted? Donkey Kong asked. Yes, replied Diddy. Are yours? All set, said Donkey Kong. Now we just have to find Pops.
I'm here,
said Cranky, walking up beside them.
What was all the commotion I heard?
I'll explain it later, Donkey Kong answered. Come on, let's get out of here. The Kongs raced for the back door. When they were a safe distance from the factory, Donkey Kong detonated the TNT barrels by remote control. The terrible factory exploded in a huge ball of flame. You'll never find it. Have to start back at the start. Oh no. Chapter 7. I'm guessing that we're back in the jungle. I'm gonna go back to the jungle. Yippee! Shouted Diddy Kong. We got them! We destroyed the Kremling's factory! Don't celebrate yet, Donkey Kong said. He told them about the conversation between Claptrap and Zinger. We still gotta rescue our stolen bananas and fight K. Rool. So what do we do now? Asked Diddy. We head to the ocean and see if we can track down Gangplank Galleon, replied Donkey Kong.
Great monkey madness! I hate the ocean. Too much darn water, if you ask me.
Donkey Kong shook his head. The three Kongs set out on a long trek to the sea. The following morning, Donkey Kong, Diddy, and Cranky stood at the shoreline, gazing at the wide sea. Crystal blue waves gently rolled in and broke on the soft white sand. Now that we're here,
began Cranky Kong, did you stop to think that we don't have a boat?
Before Donkey Kong could answer, a large blue swordfish broke the water surface. His sword-like beak shimmered in the morning sun as he hung in the air for a second and then splashed back into the waves. "It's my friend Enguarde, the swordfish!" exclaimed Donkey Kong. Again, Enguarde jumped out of the water. "Dive in!" he called. "Don't worry, just dive in!" Then he fell back into the sea. "I trust Enguarde," Donkey Kong told the others. "I'm sure it's safe. Come on, let's dive in."
Oh, great.
Cranky Kong moaned.
After all this, now I have to get wet.
The Kongs waded out from the shore, then dove underwater. I was so ready for this one. Enguarde was waiting, and he gave each Kong a special underwater breathing barrel. Donkey Kong, Diddy, and Cranky slipped the special barrels around their necks and found that they could breathe and speak underwater. So weird. Donkey Kong hopped on the swordfish's back and began to tell Enguarde about their adventures and their mission. "I know it all," said Enguarde. "Word of your adventures has spread all over the island, even underwater. That's why I've been hanging around the shoreline waiting for you. I figured you'd show up soon to find the Kremling ship." "Grab onto my tail," Enguarde told Diddy Kong. "And you, grab his tail," he continued to Cranky. "I'll pull you along as we go. I know where you can find that ship." Diddy Kong grabbed Enguarde's tail, then Cranky took hold of Diddy's tail. Enguarde swam powerfully through the ocean, pulling his friends along. Suddenly, they were attacked by a gang of underwater enemies. Can they breathe underwater like they can in the games? Ah, yeah, there you go. That's the true lore of why they could breathe underwater this whole time. Chomps the shark swam right at Diddy Kong. Enguarde rammed into the deadly shark with his powerful sword beak. "Take that, you overgrown puppy!" shouted Enguarde as Chomps went swimming out of control. Squidge, the jellyfish, tried to sting Donkey Kong, who used a double-hand slap attack on either side of Squidge's head to stun the jellyfish. "That ringing in your head is not a phone call," teased Donkey Kong. It's ridiculous. Clambo the clam spat pearls at Cranky Kong, but the old monkey remained unrattled. He used his walking stick like a baseball bat, hitting the pearls back at Clambo.
"Batter up!"
yelled Cranky.
"I wasn't the all-star hitter for the Kong Cardinals for nothing, you know."
Clambo swam away, stinging from the pearls Cranky had smacked back at him. Croctopus, the octopus, managed to grab Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong, but once again, Enguarde and his sword were ready. "Get to the point, Croctopus," said Enguarde as he jabbed the octopus. Croctopus fled along with the others. The Kongs regrouped with Enguarde and they proceeded on the last leg of their undersea adventure, or their undersea journey. Enguarde and the Kongs surfaced. A short distance away, they saw a gangplank galleon. The large wooden ship bobbed in the waves. Up on the tall mast, flag bearing the portrait of the Kremling leader, King K. Rool, flapped in the stiff ocean breeze. "That's the ship!" Donkey Kong exclaimed. "That's where our bananas are!" The Kongs thanked Enguarde for the help and then swam to the remaining distance to the gangplank galleon. The final battle was about to begin. Ooh, yeah. Ah, thanks for the look, Tony. You can grab some grub. Yeah, get you some food. Alright, this is the one scene I truly, truly wish I had, but I don't. So, what we're gonna do is... Okay, we're gonna do what I originally planned, because I didn't know if they'd fight on the ship or not. So I decided to go with this, but I had better music playing. Okay, they should be using the right music now. Chapter 8. The Kongs grabbed onto a rope that hung over Gangplank Galleon's side. They pulled themselves from the water and used their natural climbing abilities to shimmy up the rope. Peering over the railing of the ship, they were shocked by what they saw. The old ship was teeming with activity. Kremlings scurried everywhere, carrying barrels full of stolen food. As they worked, the Kremlings argued amongst themselves. They fought about whose turn it was to carry the barrels and whose turn it was to drop the anchor and whose turn it was to clean the ship. Although from the look of things, it appeared that it was never anybody's turn to clean the ship. And there in a huge pile on the deck sat the load of stolen bananas. The noisy, crowded ship suddenly grew silent and still. 4 of the Kremling's leaders strode onto the main deck. Clump, the helmeted Kremling who had led the raid on the banana storehouse. Rock Croc, whose eyes glowed with evil light. Critter, a common Kremling who had risen through the ranks by being extra nasty. And Crusha, a huge muscle-bound Kremling with spiked hair. Behind these 4 came King K. Rool, the supreme commander and the Kremlings and the one who had ordered the banana raid. The Kongs watched over the scene and over the ship's railing. That's the guy who had me put in the barrel, Diddy Kong whispered, pointing at Clump. It's that King K. Rool I'd like to get a hold of, said Donkey Kong. He's the top Kremling. King K. Rool addressed the crowd of Kremlings.
My fellow Kremlings, he said, I have received some disturbing news. Our beloved factory has been destroyed by those meddlesome monkeys, the Kongs.
Here's a nice little illustration of King K. Rool and the goons. Oh, I guess it resets the music each time, but maybe that's not so bad. A shocked murmur passed through the crowded ship.
Silence,
Bellowed King K. Rool.
This action cannot go unpunished. Therefore, we will leave at once for a full-scale attack on the Kongs and their jungle home. This will be no banana raid. We will put an end to those mischief makers once and for all, and we will put the Kremlings total command of the Donkey Kong Island.
Cheer went up. Donkey Kong knew they had to strike now or risk a battle that could destroy their home. Don't count your bananas before they're peeled, Kremlings, shouted Donkey Kong as he, Diddy, and Cranky leapt over the ship's railing and began to fling barrels. The attack caught the Kremlings by surprise. Donkey Kong went into a barrel roll, tumbling across the Gangplank Galleon's deck like a giant hairy ball. He smashed into a group of Kremlings, scattering the startled lizards like bowling pins. Diddy Kong vaulted high into the air and landed with a double jump right on Rock Croc's head. The Kremling crumpled to the ground. Try that with me, little...
Try that with me, little monkey,
shouted Clump, stepping next to Diddy. Clump smiled as he adjusted his helmet. Oh, wait, no, Clump is the military guy.
Try that with me, little monkey,
shouted Clump, stepping next to Diddy. Clump smiled as he adjusted his helmet, which protected him from all the attacks from above. I don't have to, replied Diddy. When I can do this! Diddy Kong spun into a cartwheel, catching Clump in the chest with both his feet. Clump flew right over the ship's railing into the ocean. That's for stuffing me into a barrel, shouted Diddy. Meanwhile, Donkey Kong, having bowled over most of the crew with his barrel rolls, turned his attention to the Kremling commanders. He pulled out his supply of miniature barrels and began flinging them at Critter. Critter made his way through the storm of barrels like an explorer fighting snow at the North Pole.
Your tiny barrels don't hurt me,
cried Critter. Now he stood face to face with Donkey Kong. They don't? said Donkey Kong. Well then, how about a hand slap attack? Donkey Kong slammed the deck in front of Critter in the palm of his powerful hand. The ancient wood shattered from the force of the blow, opening a huge hole right under Critter's feet. Critter plunged down, crashing through the deck after deck. He didn't stop falling until he had reached the lowest deck of the ship. While Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong disposed of the Kremlings, Cranky got busy loading the stolen bananas into large empty barrels. Donkey Kong turned around and found himself face to face with Crusha. Oh wait, that's who I thought. Ah, boy, I'm getting them all mixed up. The strongest of the Kremling commanders.
Why don't you throw your little barrels at me, monkey? Ha ha!
Laughed Crusha.
How about if I throw my big feet at you instead? Replied Donkey Kong as he jumped right at Crusher feet first. Donkey Kong landed on Crusher with a tremendous blow. Crusher just shrugged it off. Was that the monkey or just an insect? Mocked the Kremling. Diddy attacked from the side, cartwheeling into Crusher's powerful arms. The young monkey bounced off and landed on the deck. An even smaller insect this time, said Crusher. Let me show you a real strength. Crusher lashed out, striking Donkey Kong with one arm and Diddy with the other. The two Kongs went flying to opposite sides of Gangplank Galleon. As Crusher stood in the middle of the ship laughing, Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong realized what they had to do. They had to work together to stop this most powerful Kremling. The two Kongs found long ropes coiled up on the sides of the ship where each had landed. They both flung ropes over the mast and made sure they were tightly secured. Then, on the count of 3, Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong swung up from opposite sides of the ship toward the middle. They met right where Crusher stood, swinging into the Kremling from two sides at once. The combination of both Kongs hitting Crusher at once was too much even for the muscle-bound commander. Crusher fell into the deck, stunned. Way to go, little buddy, Donkey Kong said. We make a good team, replied Diddy. This is not over yet, though, Donkey Kong reminded him. We still gotta stop King K. Rool. But the Kongs were too late. Seeing that defeat was at hand, King K. Rool had slipped away in his speedboat. Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong watched as the Supreme Kremling Commander sped away from the Gangplank Galleon, waving his fist in the air, screaming back at them, This isn't over, monkeys! I will be back to destroy you! Meanwhile, the remaining Kremlings abandoned the ship rather than face the Kongs without their leaders. Donkey Kong and Diddy soon discovered that during the battle, Cranky had been hard at work. Not only had he loaded the stolen bananas into barrels, but when the barrels were full, he had lashed them together to form a giant raft. Nice work, Pops, said Donkey Kong.
This old monkey's still got a trick or two up his sleeve,
replied Cranky.
Besides, I wasn't about to just sit around and let you two have all the fun.
The Kongs tossed the barrel raft over the edge and jumped off the ship onto the raft. They paddled the raft to shore, where they loaded the bananas into the abandoned Kremling carts. Then, when all the bananas were safely in the carts, the Kongs began their long journey home. Here, let's go back to the normal jungle. Yo, thanks for the follow, Crow Friend. When all the bananas were safely in the carts, the Kongs began the journey home, pulling the carts behind them.
You know,
Cranky said to Donkey Kong.
For a young whippersnapper, you sure did a good job in this little adventure.
A warm smile broke on Donkey Kong's face. Thanks, Pops, he said.
Yeah, well, don't go all mushy on me now,
said Cranky Kong. Donkey Kong smiled again, then he turned to Diddy. And you, little buddy, Donkey Kong. Here, let's got a little illustration here. This is them loading all the bananas onto the carts. Where'd my jungle scene go? There you go.
You made me proud. You can go on an adventure with me anytime. Thanks, Donkey,
said Diddy Kong, beaming with pride.
You know, the Kremlings will be back, Donkey Kong added.
And I'll give them a good thrashing again,
said Cranky Kong, waving his stick in the air.
We'll be ready for them, Donkey, said Diddy. We're the best team on Donkey Kong Island.
That's it. That's book 1. Yeah. All right. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, and then we're going to hop back for book number 2. We'll be right back. Hang tight, friends.
End of the Donkey Kong Island.
Cheer went up. Donkey Kong knew they had to strike now or risk a battle that could destroy their home.
Don't count your bananas before they're peeled, Kremlings,
shouted Donkey Kong as he, Diddy, and Cranky leapt over the ship's railing and began to fling barrels. The attack caught the Kremlings by surprise. Donkey Kong went into a barrel roll, tumbling across the Gangplank Galleon's deck like a giant hairy ball. He smashed into a group of Kremlings, scattering... Ow, damn it.
Shit! There's another one! Oh, he's going back!
Of course he came back.
It's a ball of undead monsters. Your bonk daddy has arrived. Wait. Did it work? There. Oh, there's. Oh. But now we have 70 lives, so it's as if none of it ever happened. Ah! 67 lives. Chris is bad? No! I'm just average. Oops. Just forget that just happened. What's that about 70 lives? Listen. It's gotta be something over here. Last one. All right. Shit! Oh my god! Oh, okay. It actually kept going a lot longer than I thought. Can't believe I accidentally did the backstep. Immediately, fart milk in my mouth. And then it was... Immediately, fart milk in my mouth. Of course, that's the scene. I was shocked to see that the first clip on the BRB screen was from this stream. That's kind of fun. Fart milk. I stand by that. The Bean Boozled spoiled milk flavor really truly is fart milk. If I were to call it by any other name, it would be that one. All right, we're gonna start book number 2. Here, I'll show you a nice little zoom cam of this bad boy. I mean, it's getting green screened a little bit. You know, I should have like a non-green screen. Well, actually, I don't know how I would do that. Streamlabs is weird sometimes, but either way. So we're on Rescue on Crocodile Isle. And this one, looks like on the cover that DK gets kidnapped. So this is a Diddy and Dixie adventure. I don't know where we're going to start, so we're just going to start in the treehouse. This one's a little bit more beat up. There definitely is a skull minecart, though, going on in this one. Oh, here's what the back says. Shiver me timbers! The evil Captain K. Rool has kidnapped Donkey Kong and taken him to the Kremling's pirate haven on Crocodile Isle. Can young Diddy and Dixie save their famous friend? All right, Chapter 1. Ooh, the text is a little bit smaller. Donkey Kong let out a big sigh. It doesn't get any better than this, he thought to himself. He stretched his hairy arms over his head and wriggled his toes in the white sand. The beautiful blue ocean of Donkey Kong Island lay before him. It was bright and sunny day. Donkey Kong was relaxing on a beach chair under a big umbrella, sipping a cold banana milkshake. He watched the white-capped waves curl into tubes and then gently roll toward shore. Nothing could possibly ruin a day this perfect, he thought out loud. As it turned out, he couldn't have been more wrong. Just as he started to doze off, he was startled by a sharp whack on the side of the chair. Who's there? He yelped, leaping straight up into the air. When he landed, he was face to face with Cranky Kong, his grandfather.
Just what in monkey's business do you think you're doing, you big lazy ape?
Shouted Cranky. I was trying to have a relaxing day at the beach, replied Donkey Kong, irritated at the interruption. And I was doing it too until you came along.
When I was your age,
Cranky began, the way he began most of his speeches to his grandson.
I didn't take any days off to hang around at the beach. It was work, work, work. Rescue, rescue, rescue.
Another when I was your age speech, thought Donkey Kong, sighing heavily. Why don't you go bother Diddy or something? He said aloud after a few moments.
Diddy?
Snorted Cranky with a disgusted moan.
These days he's off always somewhere with that girlfriend of his. But don't worry, Mr. Relaxation. I can take a hint. I know when I'm not wanted.
Cranky stormed away, muttering things like
Day at the beach and big lazy ape.
as he headed home. Donkey Kong shook his head and settled back into his beach chair. He then dozed off in the afternoon sun. Later that, as night began to fall, Diddy Kong and his girlfriend, Dixie Kong, returned from Donkey Kong's treetop home. They found Cranky and his wife, Wrinkly, pacing the floor, fretting. "What's up, Cranky?" asked Diddy. "You look even more worried than you usually do."
Don't get sassy with me, you young whippersnapper.
Shot back Cranky.
I told your pal Donkey Kong that nothing good would ever come from, Day at the beach. But did he listen? No, and now this.
Here, I got an illustration to show you. This is Cranky yelling at DK on the beach. "Now what?" asked Diddy. "What's going on?"
What Cranky's...
What Cranky's trying to tell you, Diddy,
replied Wrinkly.
is that Donkey Kong never came back from his day at the beach. He's always home by dark, and Cranky's getting worried.
I think I was perfectly capable of saying that myself, thank you.
Snapped Cranky.
Of course you were, dear,
Replied Wrinkly. She had learned long ago how to handle Cranky when he was in a bad mood, which was most of the time. "Well, what are we standing around talking for?" asked Dixie. She was still not used to Cranky's personality.
That's just what I was gonna say,
Chimed in Cranky.
if anyone around here would let me get a word in.
By the time Cranky had finished talking, Diddy and Dixie were already out the door, on their way to the beach. Cranky and Wrinkly followed close behind, with Cranky complaining the whole time. The four Kongs soon arrived at the spot where Donkey Kong had spent the afternoon. "Look!" shouted Diddy, racing through the sand. He pointed at something lit up by the last fading rays of the evening sun. "It's Donkey Kong's beach chair, and it's been smashed to pieces." Cranky held the section of the chair in his hands and he shook his head.
I knew it. I just knew something bad would come of this.
Not far from the beach chair, Wrinkly found Donkey Kong's broken sunglasses. A bent pole was all that was left of his beach umbrella. "Look at these!" cried Diddy excitedly. He pointed to the sand all around the spot where Donkey Kong's smashed up beach stuff had been found. "Footprints! Hundreds of them! Big, gnarly, lizard-shaped footprints! That could only mean one thing!" The Kongs looked at one another. Then they said out loud the thing they dreaded most: Kremlings. That DK face on the beach is such a I don't give a fuck, old man. It's 100%. The Kremlings were a race of nasty, lizard-like creatures that lived in Donkey Kong Country. They were pirates by trade. They lived only to steal Donkey Kong's precious hoard of bananas. They had been successful several times before. Each time the Kremlings had taken Donkey Kong's bananas, he had set off on a quest to retrieve them. Last time had been a real adventure, and Diddy had joined Donkey Kong on the successful effort to get the bananas back. But this time, it appeared that Donkey Kong himself had been taken by the Kremlings. "Look what I found!" shouted Dixie. Her words broke the worried silence that had descended upon the Kongs. "A note, half buried in the sand. Here, listen to this." As the others listened carefully, Dixie read the note. "To the yellow-bellied, land-loving Kong family. Hurrah! We got the big monkey on Crocodile Island. If you want him back, you scurvy dogs, you'll have to hand over the banana hoard." The note was signed Captain K. Rool. The Kongs stared at each other in stunned silence for a few seconds, absorbing the meaning of the note. Then Diddy spoke first. "Rool," he snarled, "our old enemy. That big boss Kremling has stolen Donkey Kong's bananas before, but now he's got Donkey Kong himself."
I guess we have to go give the Rool the bananas if we ever want to see that lazy ape again,
said Cranky with a sigh. Diddy was shocked. "After all the trouble we went through last time to get them back?" he gasped.
"Well, blasted baboon bottoms!" exclaimed Cranky. "What else can we do?"
We can rescue Donkey Kong, of course, said both Diddy and Dixie at the same time. Here we got another little illustration here. This is them reading the note. I have no idea what scene I was on before, but I feel like this is a little bit more appropriate. Chapter 2.
Rescue?
Whined Cranky. He shook his head again in disbelief.
Who in the name of monkey madness is gonna do that?
I am, said Diddy. Donkey Kong would do the same for me. I'm going to Crocodile Isle. If you're going, Dixie said to Diddy, then I'm going with you.
I guess I can't just let you two young whippersnappers race off by yourselves,
said Cranky.
Well, don't worry, I'll take you to Crocodile Isle and you'll get that good-for-nothing lazy grandson of mine back.
Gee, Cranky, it's not like that we don't want you to come, began Diddy. But, well, haven't you had enough adventures for one lifetime? I mean, you've been rescuing since you were...
Young!
Cranky finished Diddy's sentence.
Meaning I'm too old now, huh? Come on, Wrinkly, let's go home. You two youngins go off on this dang fool adventure by yourselves. Why you won't last 2 days out there, you hear me? Not 2 days!
Cranky stormed off, Wrinkly following close behind. I was trying not to hurt his feelings, said Diddy after Cranky had gone. I guess I didn't do a very good job. Do you think maybe we should let him come? Asked Dixie. Nah, replied Diddy. He just keep talking nonstop telling us how we were doing everything wrong. We're better off without him. Come on, let's go get some rest. We have a long journey ahead of us. The following morning, Diddy and Dixie met at the docks of Donkey Kong Island. There, they arranged to borrow a small sailing ship. They loaded it with supplies. I think we have enough food to last us until we reach Crocodile Isle, said Diddy when he had finished loading the final crate. And I packed a bunch of barrels in case we run into any of those Kremlings, asked Diddy. I'm sure we will, Dixie, said Diddy. He thought briefly about his other encounters with the Kremlings, but quickly shook off those unpleasant memories. The two set sail for Crocodile Isle. By the time the sun had risen fully, Diddy and Dixie could no longer see the docks of Donkey Kong Island. The shimmering blue sea stretched out before them in every direction. Diddy used his compass and sea charts to navigate. Dixie thought about the huge task before them. Here, you know what? I guess we could go... I mean, it seems a little silly, but we'll go underwater for this. Interesting they drew Diddy with his hat on backward. Oh, I didn't even realize. But yeah, you're right. Maybe this was Michael Teetelbaum trying to establish a newer, cooler Diddy. Don't think they've ever done that in any of the games. Diddy's turned his hat backward during his victory sequence in DKC 2, but that's the only time. He always wears it forward and then turns it back and then plays the guitar. Or no? Yeah? I think he plays the guitar. I don't remember. Yeah, either way, that was the only time it happened. Oops, I lost my spot. By the time the sun had fully risen, Diddy and Dixie could no longer see the docks of Donkey Kong Island. The shimmering blue sea stretched out before them in every direction. Diddy used his compass and sea charts to navigate. Dixie thought about the huge task that lay before them. What are the Kremlings like? She asked. I've never seen one. I've only just heard stories. They're big, green, and slimy and scaly, replied Diddy. They're mean, but they're dumb, like real dumb. That's what we have going for us. We have a simian sense, as Cranky would say. Dixie laughed. Do you think we should have let him come along? She asked. She was not sure that they had made the right decision. She didn't have time to think about it for long before Diddy could respond. Before Diddy could respond, one of the crates on board began to rock from side to side. Oh gosh, I know what this is gonna be. Then the top popped open and out jumped Cranky.
Let me come along!
he yelled.
Nobody lets me do anything. I've been doing what I wanted since I was knee-high to a salamander. I'm not about to stop now.
Cranky! Diddy and Dixie both exclaimed at once. How did you?
Easy,
Cranky interrupted.
for a monkey with a simian sense. I snuck into one of your crates about an hour before you showed up at the docks this morning. I wasn't gonna argue with you yesterday about coming along, but I think you need my years of experience if you're going to go get Donkey Kong back.
Diddy laughed. He felt he could handle this mission without Cranky, but part of him was glad to have the old monkey along. Welcome aboard, Cranky, said Diddy. He patted the older ape on the back. I'm glad you're here too, added Dixie. Cranky nodded.
Another adventure, he sighed. Did I ever tell you too about the time I rescued 14 apes from a burning tree?
Cranky launched into one of his many stories. Diddy and Dixie settled back. They knew they had no choice but to hear him out. As the day wore on, the small ship made its slow progress across the ocean, but toward the sunset sky began to darken. Inky black clouds moved in quickly overhead. The wind whipped the ship's sails. Looks like like a storm's coming, said Diddy, interrupting Cranky's tale about how he had single-handedly saved an entire continent.
We'd better.
Before Diddy could finish his sentence, the storm struck with a terrible fury. Rain lashed on the deck of the tiny ship. The strong gale tossed the apes around until finally pitched them overboard. Down they plunged into the cold green sea. They struggled to hold their breaths. Then, as if things weren't bad enough, from out of nowhere came two menacing faces. Lockjaw, the piranha, and Shuri, the starfish, two of the Kong's underwater enemies, had been following the ship. They were hoping for an opportunity like this. Lockjaw opened his huge mouth, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. Shuri spun like a buzzsaw. Both had headed straight for the Kongs. Suddenly, a streaking blue flash appeared from the briny green depths. A cry of, "En garde!" stunned Lockjaw and Shuri, stopping them in their tracks. It was En garde, the swordfish, a friend of the Kongs. En garde had helped Donkey and Diddy on their very first adventure together. "Here, take these," said En garde, giving special breathing barrels to Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky. The barrels could be used to breathe underwater for an unlimited time. Unlimited. I'll take care of these fishy characters," the swordfish declared. En garde charged at Lockjaw, crashing into the piranha's huge bottom lip with his long sword-like jaw. Lockjaw's mouth slammed shut, and he swam away yelping in pain. Shuri spun his pointy little arms at En garde, who swung his jaw sideways at the starfish. It was like a batter swinging at a pitched baseball. En garde smacked Shuri hard. The starfish head shot off like a line drive, disappearing into the murky deep. Line drive, a golfing term? I don't think kids are going to understand what that means. "Are you guys all right?" asked En garde. "Yes, thanks to you," replied Diddy as he breathed through the barrel. "How did you know we were here?" "Word spreads quickly around Donkey Kong Country," explained En garde. "Everyone heard about what happened to Donkey Kong. Those two pests were following you. I decided to keep a close eye on them." The Kongs remained underwater, breathing through the special barrels. When the storm had passed, En garde led them back to their ship. It was a bit waterlogged, but otherwise all right. After bailing the water out of the deck, the Kongs bid farewell to En garde. There's a nice little illustration of the fight. En garde looks a little bit extra cartoonish here. Ah! It was after bailing out the water, the Kongs bid farewell to En garde. "Good luck with the rescue and keep the breathing barrels. You may need them again," said En garde. Then he leaped from the water into a perfect blue arc and dove beneath the waves. "Thank you, En garde," called Diddy. "Thanks for everything." The sea returned to its calm state and the Kongs proceeded on their voyage. As the sun began to set, a large island came into view on the horizon. "Crocodile Isle ahead," shouted Dixie.
She pointed to the sinister-looking island, which grew larger and larger as the tiny ship approached. Diddy noticed the closer they got to the island, the stronger the currents were getting. Soon the tides were very strong. The ship could no longer be steered. "I guess we're gonna have to land wherever the current takes us," said Diddy.
I don't like it.
Moaned Cranky.
Not one bit.
Cranky had a good reason to be concerned. The powerful current soon pulled the ship right into Crocodile Cauldron. It was a rocky cove filled with boiling hot lava. As soon as the ship entered the bubbling cove, it burst into flames. Ooh. "What do we do?" shouted Dixie. "Stay in the burning ship or jump into the scalding lava?" I feel like this one is close. Chapter 3. Here, let me take a swig of water. The flames on the ship climbed higher. They soon crept up the mast and spread across the deck. "What do we do?" repeated Dixie.
We're doomed.
Groaned Cranky. "Maybe not," said Diddy. He had spotted something in the burning lava.
Well, if you have a plan, speak up.
Shouted Cranky.
Don't wait for an invitation to arrive in the mail.
"Look at the lava," began Diddy. "Do you see all the crocodiles poking their heads up?" Dixie and Cranky nodded. "I think we can use the crockheads as stepping stones to make it to land," Diddy explained.
So we become crocodile snacks instead of crispy critters?
Whined Cranky. At that moment, the deck of the flaming ship split in two. There was no more time for discussion. The Kongs had to act. Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky leapt from their burning ship just as it disappeared into the boiling lava. Each Kong landed on a different crocodile. Diddy and Dixie hopped from crockhead to crockhead, moving toward the shoreline of Crocodile Cauldron. "It's working," said Dixie. "The crocs are letting us use their heads as stepping stones." "How are you doing, Cranky?" asked Diddy, turning around as he spied Cranky lagging far behind. The older ape was having trouble keeping his balance as he moved from one croc head to the next.
You two go on,
Shouted Cranky. He was struggling to keep his footing.
I don't think I'm gonna make it.
Damn, all right. Cranky stumbled and started to fall toward the lava. "Cranky!" Diddy cried, looking on helplessly. Suddenly, a green blur of wings swooped down and grabbed Cranky just before he hit the boiling lava. "Squawks!" Diddy declared happily. It was the parrot who helped Donkey and Diddy on their other adventures. Squawks deposited Cranky safely on land. A few minutes later, Diddy and Dixie joined them. "Are you all right, Cranky?" asked Dixie as she left from the last croc head to the shore.
I told you it was a dang fool plan hopping on crocodile heads,
complained Cranky, but he was actually quite grateful for the rescue. It's the Squawks talking next. Oh, this is Diddy. "The last time I saw you, you were holding a flashlight to light the way for Donkey Kong and me," Diddy said to Squawks.
My power has grown since then.
It's a strange way of putting it, replied the parrot.
I can now lift monkeys and transport them through the air for short distances. The game mechanics have changed in this book. Good thing too, said Cranky. This was
as close to saying thanks as he would ever come. Oh, we've got an illustration, by the way, of this. That's a really intense illustration, too. So that's Squawk saving Cranky as they're all jumping from crockheads. Back to the cave.
Where is Donkey Kong?
Asked Squawks. Diddy quickly explained what had happened. He told Squawks the purpose of their quest.
They may have taken Donkey Kong to Gangplank Galleon, Squawks guessed. That's K. Rool's old pirate ship. It washed up on shore and is no longer seaworthy. It's a logical place for Rool to be hiding Donkey Kong. Even though the ship doesn't travel the seas anymore, it's still manned by a scurvy gremlin crew.
That's where we'll start. Or then that's where we'll start, said Diddy. The Kongs thanked Squawks for the help. The parrot gave them directions to Gangplank Galleon. Then he flew off, wishing them luck. The three Kongs followed Crocodile Isle's craggy coastline. The red, yellow, and orange lava soon gave way to shimmering blue water. I
guess let's go back to this. I assume we might be going in the water.
Now this looks like a coastline ought to look.
Said Cranky. He felt much calmer now after their rude welcome to the island. A short while later, Diddy spotted a pirate ship floating in the beautiful blue-green cove. That's it, he said. Gangplank alien, I recognize Rule's ship from my first banana rescue mission with Donkey Kong. Hard to believe that such a pretty place could be... Oh, hard to believe that such a pretty place could be crawling with Kremlings, said Dixie. Come on, let's see if we can sneak on board. Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky made their way to the ship. They kept low and hid behind the shoreline growth as they scurried along. When they reached the ship, Cranky looked up at the gangplank.
How in the name of monkey madness are we supposed to get on board?
He asked.
We can't just stroll up and say, hey there, Kremlings, we're here to rescue our friend.
It's a good scene for this. I mean, I guess we could go back to this. Yeah, I guess that'll work. I've got an idea, said Diddy. Follow me. He slipped into the water and swam toward the far side of the ship. Dixie and Cranky followed.
Now I'm wet,
Complained Cranky as he followed the others. Shh, they'll hear us, warned Dixie. Cranky grumbled to himself but continued to swim. When they reached the far side of the ship, the three Kongs climbed up and peered over the railing. The deck was crawling with Kremlings. So that's what they look like, whispered Dixie. Yuck! We need to distract their attention so we can slip on board, said Diddy, who was enjoying his new role as leader of the group. I think we need your ponytail here, Dixie. Dixie had a long ponytail that she could use in several different ways. When she attached a barrel to it and spun around, it acted like a slingshot. It could toss the barrel great distances, and by spinning her ponytail like a helicopter blade, she could fly a short period of time. Here, said Diddy. He handed Dixie a miniature exploding barrel. Fling this to the other side of the ship. With luck, all the Kremlings will move to that side when it goes off. Dixie wrapped the end of her ponytail around the small barrel. She began to swing the ponytail around and around. When she had gotten enough speed, she flung the barrel. It landed on the opposite side of the ship. The barrel exploded with a dull thud, sent out a fine spray of water high into the air. Panic broke out on the deck. All the Kremlings raced to see what had happened. Here's our chance, said Diddy. Let's go. In the midst of the pandemonium, Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky climbed over the railing. They snuck on board and began their search. They had covered almost the entire lower deck with no luck. When they heard the strange squish, clomp, squish, clomp, squish, clomp sound, it was coming closer and closer. Someone's coming, whispered Dixie. Let's hide. But it was too late. Clomp, the Kremling, had gotten his name because the sound he made with... Oh, that's Clomp, that's right. With his one peg leg when he walked. The squish with the sound of the other's slimy reptile foot. Now he turned the corner and stood face to face with the Kongs.
Monkeys!
He shouted.
Hey, everybody! We have monkeys on board!
Time for action, Diddy cried. He went right into his cartwheel attack, sending Clomp spinning ahead over his feet. When Clomp landed, his peg foot got stuck in a hole in one of the deck's planks.
Hey, no fair!
Clomp complained as he tried in vain to free his leg. One down, said Diddy. About 1 million to go. Kremlings swarmed the lower deck as the battle raged. Dixie flung exploding barrels at the group of charging Kremlings. They took creatures down like bowling pins, all except for one Kremling named Kaboing, who bounced up and around on spring-loaded legs. Kaboing bounced up on a high ledge near the top deck. He was just in time to miss the impact of the explosion.
Ha!
He taunted from above.
Missed me!
Time for a little teamwork, Dixie, said Diddy. I'm with you, Dixie replied. Diddy leapt up onto her shoulders. She tossed him toward Kaboing. Here, you dropped this, handing Kaboing a barrel.
Thank you,
replied the Kremling as the barrel blew up in his face. I told you that Kremlings were dumb, said Diddy when he landed next to Dixie. Suddenly, a Kremling named Klinger dropped down using a rope from above. He landed right next to Cranky.
Hey, I've got the old monkey,
Klinger shouted as he wrapped his arms around Cranky.
Who are you calling old creme bum?
asked Cranky.
I'll show you.
He smacked Klinger on the knuckles with his cane. The Kremling let go, yelping in pain. Cranky sidestepped Klinger's next attack and struck him on the back, knocking the Kremling overboard.
That'll teach you to call me old,
said the Elder Kong. That's a good joke right there. Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky were in high gear. They cartwheeled, barrel-tossed, and ponytailed and cane-thumped their way through the Kremlings. Soon they had all the pirates on board defeated all the pirates on board Gangplank Galleon. Wow, great teamwork, exclaimed Diddy, exchanging a high five with Dixie. Nice work, Cranky, said Dixie.
I've still got a good few moves left in these old bones,
bragged Cranky.
You youngsters didn't do so bad either.
The Kongs resumed their search of the ship, but soon realized that there was no sign of Donkey Kong anywhere.
All for nothing,
asked Cranky dejectedly. Wait, shouted Dixie from across the deck. I found something. Sit up for a second. Chapter 4. Diddy and Cranky joined Dixie. She was standing in front of an open pirate chest. The decaying chest was filled with old papers and cobwebs. Dixie had been rummaging through the papers. She was looking for some clue as to where the Kremlings might be holding Donkey Kong. What she found was a pirate map of the island. A map! Exclaimed Diddy, eagerly looking over the yellowed piece of paper. The map showed all the various locations on the island. Most important, it showed the way to Captain K. Rool's keep. This heavily guarded fortress was Rool's lair. His headquarters. It was the center of his operation of banana thieving and now Kong napping. K. Rool's keep, said Diddy, pointing to the drawing on the map. Look at this place. Even the picture is scary. This must be where Rool is keeping Donkey Kong, Dixie decided. She was beginning to feel like they didn't hit a dead end after all.
That place looks like a monkey barrel full of trouble to me, said Cranky. Besides, how in the name of simian sense are we gonna get inside if we're even gonna make it there?
We'll have to figure that out when we get there, replied Diddy. This didn't make Cranky feel much better. With a tiny kernel of hope and growing sense of dread, the three Kongs left Gangplank Galleon. They headed out to K. Rool's keep. Dixie, as a navigator, she read the map and led the way. The trail indicated the map took them from coastline into the dark heart of Crocodile Isle. A narrow path led through a thickly wooded area. We'll go back to the jungle now. The foliage grew more and more dense as they traveled inland. Soon they were in a deep forest filled with towering trees that blocked out the sunlight. What a dark and gloomy place, observed Dixie.
Ah, you call this dark?
Snorted Cranky.
Why, I was once in a forest so thick that the sun didn't make it through the treetops for 3 whole days. Yup, 3 days it stayed black as night around the clock.
Zanira! Welcome on in, everybody. I hope you had an absolutely delightful stream. She's been playing, so Zanira plays a lot of FF14, but she's been playing some other stuff. She recently did, I think it was a speed run of Donkey Kong Country 3, but I know you've been playing some Undertale lately too, which I'm really curious to see how you've been enjoying Undertale. I've been lurking in those streams, but you know, I don't speak German very well, so I can only assume so much. But y'all should go check out Zanira sometime. She's an absolute delight.
Was ist mit Lava?
Wanna be my Lala?
Oh, I wanna be your Lala. Oh, wanna be my Röhre?
Oh,
Welcome on in, everyone. I hope you all had an absolute delight over there. Good morning. Yeah, good morning to you too. That's right. I guess it would be pretty early over there, wouldn't it? It's, what time is it here? It's 8 p.m. over here, but you know, that's how it goes on the other side of the planet. DK nice. Ah, yeah. She's doing very well in Undertale. Oh, it was in English. Oh! Well, my cards have been revealed that I've been watching muted. I guess I didn't even think that it would be in English. My bad, my bad. This is a good clip. That was a very good clip. Nearly done with Undertale, at least with one route. Nice. Okay, that makes it. I mean, Undertale's a pretty short game. Okay, okay. That's true. You do. You're much better at English than I am at German. That's for sure. But welcome on in, folks. If you've never been here before, we do Chronostreams. We've been playing through every single gosh dang Donkey Kong game in chronological order, but today is a special day. We're reading the Donkey Kong novels, published in, I think someone said 97 and 98. And these are written by Michael Teitelbaum, which is, this has actually been pretty fun. They're children's books, but like, they're actually better than I thought they would be, to be totally honest. They're DK novels. There are 3, in fact. So we finished the first one. The first one is just named Donkey Kong Country. That's it. The second one, which is the one we're on, this is Donkey Kong Country Rescue on Crocodile Isle. So the first one basically follows the narrative of the first Donkey Kong Country. This one follows the second one, but something tells me that the third book, Rumble in the Jungle, is going to do its own thing, because I don't see a depiction of Kiddy Kong and Dixie on here. So I feel like this is just another DK and Diddy journey. 3 books is kind of cool. Yeah, it is kind of cool. I didn't know about these as a kid, but I guess they were like a big thing on the like Scholastic book subscription thing over here. All right, let's see where do we leave off. That's right. Okay. Dixie acted as navigator. She read the map and led the way. The trail indicated by the map took them away from the coastline into the dark heart of Crocodile Isle. A narrow path led through a thickly wooded area. The foliage grew more and more dense as they traveled inland. Soon, they were in a deep forest filled with towering trees that blocked out the sunlight. There's so much from DK. There's a lot. Well, there's let's see. How many? There are 58 games in our chrono list. We're on... Okay, good, that's muted. We're about to, once we're done with the books, we're going to be starting game number 54, actually, which is crazy that we've made it through so many Donkey Kong games. Never really played a lot of DK games, but watched the cartoon, so I probably would have loved the novels. If you liked the cartoon, I feel like you would have loved the novels easily. Just go back into Lurk, my dear. Listen to your voice. Well, thank you, Zanira. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a nice Lurk. I hope you get some nice chill time post-stream, because I know this is one of your long stream days. But yeah, I really appreciate the raid. 50. Oh, yeah! There's a ton of, I mean, to be fair, some of them are like Mario and Donkey Kong, so it's like both of them. But yeah, there's a surprising amount of Donkey Kong games out there. What a dark and gloomy place, observed Dixie.
Ah, you call this dark?
Snorted Cranky.
Why, I was once in a forest so thick that the sun didn't make it through the treetops for 3 whole days. Yep, that's 3 days that stayed black as night around the clock.
Cranky continued to tell stories of his glorious past. Dixie, however, noticed that the ground was getting softer, wetter, and more squishy. Be careful, she said to the others. It feels like we're heading into a swamp. Checking the map, she added, we must be getting close to Creme Quay. That's the biggest swamp on Crocodile Isle. Moments later, the Kongs reached the edge of Creme Quay. Half-sunken, kremling pirate ships jutted out of the green, murky water. Insects skimmed across the top of its soupy, slimy surface. Snakes slithered across the swampy shore. Yuck! Dixie exclaimed. What do we do now? The quay extends for as far as we can see. There seems to be no way around it. Well, then I guess we go through it, replied Diddy.
Through it?
bellowed Cranky.
How are we gonna manage that?
We salvaged the underwater breathing barrels that OnGuard gave us, said Diddy. We can use them to cross the quay underwater. Dixie leaned over, cupped her hands, and brought a handful of slimy green slop. She opened her hands. The swampy soup oozed between her fingers. It returned to the surface with a sickening plop. There's only one problem, Diddy, she said, wiping her hands on her vest. How will we see where we're going through this, or where we're going through this stuff? We could get lost and we'd be swimming around in there forever. Diddy sighed. He knew Dixie was right. He felt stumped. We sure could use some help, he said softly.
Help!
Who is this? Oh boy, I don't know what voice I want to give whoever this is. Said a thin voice that seemed to be coming from the quay. Help! It repeated. Who's there? Diddy asked bravely, looking around for the source of the voice. Over there, Dixie declared. She pointed to one of the sunken pirate ships. Look! Diddy and Cranky spotted a bright light flashing through the water near the ship. The light rose to the surface, and the Kong saw that it was extending from the head of a large brown fish. He popped out of the water and shone the beam right at the Kongs. Who are you? Asked Diddy. Glimmer, replied the fish. Glimmer, help Monkey's light.
What is he saying?
Muttered Cranky. I think he's offering to help us, replied Dixie. He'll light our way across the quay. Follow, said Glimmer. Then he turned and dove back under the water. The Kongs placed their breathing barrels in their mouths and they jumped into the thick, disgusting water. Back into the water. Everything was dark green and brown. It was impossible to see a thing until Glimmer flashed his light in front of them. Following Glimmer's narrow beam, Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky slowly made their way across Quay. Here we've got a nice little illustration here. Oops. This is Glimmer taking them through the mucky water. They were almost to the other side when... Suddenly, a group of huge rats appeared from out of the murky depths. They were swimming right for the Kongs. What are they? Asked Diddy. Neeks, replied Glimmer. Neeks, underwater rats! The Neeks closed in on the little group. They bared their sharp teeth. Dixie whirled her ponytail at top speed. When the Neeks came close enough, Dixie's twirling ponytail slammed into several of them and sent them spinning away. Cranky took care of the last few Neeks with his cane, and the Kongs finished their journey across the quay. On the far side of the swamp, they emerged from the water covered with slime. This is really gross, said Dixie. At least we made it across, replied Diddy. He thanked Glimmer, and the strange fish with the helpful light turned and disappeared silently into the green soupy swamp he called home. After a quick rinse in the nearby waterfall, the disheveled Kongs continued their journey toward K-Rose Keep. The thick forest... soon gave way to a more open landscape in the distance. The Kongs spotted something that looked like an old city, but as they moved closer, realized that they were approaching was not a city after all. It was a rundown amusement park. Oh, I definitely don't have this. We'll do the cave, because this is kind of what it was like in the game, at least. It was like the Skull Coaster underground. Was it underground? Maybe it wasn't. Yeah, well, you get the idea. Oh, we're on the next page. The sign read, Crazy Kremlin. Yeah, it was definitely above ground. Within its fences, Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky saw rides, carousels, a midway filled with games of chance and skill, and a huge Ferris wheel covered with brightly colored lights. There was also a giant roller coaster that was obviously in need of repair. Will you look at this place? Said Dixie as they entered the park. Who would have thought that Kremlings were interested in having fun and going on rides? I thought all they were interested in was stealing our bananas, replied Diddy.
Things aren't always what they seem.
Added Cranky nervously.
Let's be careful. This could be a trap.
You should listen to the old monkey, said a voice from behind the three Kongs. The three Kongs spun around. They found themselves face to face with a massive, muscle-bound Kremling known as Cruncha. You monkeys are coming with me.
It's action time again, shouted Diddy. He pulled out an explosive barrel and tossed it at Cruncha, but the huge Kremling simply caught it in one hand. The barrel exploded, but Cruncha just laughed. He wiped off his hand on his shirt.
You can't hurt me, Cruncha bragged. No one can.
We'll see about that, cried Dixie, taking up the challenge. She leapt onto Diddy's shoulders and launched her right at Cruncha. She hit the Kremling head first in the chest, with her ponytail spinning at top speed, but she just bounced off, landing at Diddy's feet. That's never happened to me before, said Dixie. She was a bit shaken up.
I told you so,
Cruncha said, laughing at the attack. Well, how about this? Yelled Diddy, going into his cartwheel attack. This was his most potent weapon. Diddy cartwheeled right into Cruncha, but the powerful Kremling just reached out and grabbed Diddy's ankle, stopping his spin. Then he tossed him back toward the others. He's right, said Diddy, getting to his feet. Our attacks against him are useless.
They just make me mad, snarled Cruncha. No more playing. Okay, guys, let's take them.
A group of 10 Kremlings stepped out from behind a tent. They fell in behind Cruncha.
Party's over, monkeys, said the muscle-bound leader. Time to come with us.
I approve of the Arnold voice. Thanks, Skip. Chapter 5. Run! Shouted Diddy. He hoped this would buy them some time to come up with a plan. Dixie kept up with Diddy, who ran at top speed. Cruncha and the other Kremlings gave chase. Cranky moved as quickly as he could, but lagged behind the other two younger monkeys. Come on, Cranky, hurry! Called Diddy as the older Kong struggled to keep up.
I never agreed to run,
complained Cranky. He was huffing and puffing as he pushed himself along.
That was never part of the plan!
Diddy and Dixie turned into Crazy Kremlin's main midway. Booths were set up along both sides of the long alleyway. A few minutes later, Cranky showed up.
I can't run anymore. I have to rest. You two go on without me.
Don't be silly, Cranky, said Dixie. We're not going to just leave you. Then Dixie heard the Kremlings approaching. We've got to do something. They're almost here. In there, said Diddy. He pointed to one of the game booths. The Kong scrambled over the front ledge of the booth. Then they ducked down out of sight. Along the back wall of the booth was a series of large plastic monkey heads with huge open mouths. On the ledge above the Kong sat a collection of water pistols. This must be one of those games where you have to shoot a stream of water into the monkey's mouth to win a prize, explained Diddy. I guess they don't like monkeys very much, huh? Asked Dixie.
Dang right,
said Cranky.
They've been bothering us for years. Still have no idea where the targets in their shooting, no idea that we were the targets in their shooting games. That's downright insulting. Why,
Shh, Cranky, interrupted Diddy. I hear them. The Kremlings rounded the corner and turned onto the midway.
I could have sworn they come down here, said one of the Kremlings. Look, shouted Cruncha. There they are.
The three Kongs froze in fear. Cruncha was hovering right over them, standing in front of the booth. Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky pressed their backs to the ledge that just barely hid them.
That's not them.
Oh, that's not them, Cruncha.
The Kongs heard another Kremling say.
Those are the plastic monkeys from the water shooting game.
Oh,
replied Cruncha, who was as dumb as he was strong.
I thought the mouths looked kind of big.
We'd better search to the end of one of these booths, said the other Kremling. Might as well start right here in this monkey squirting booth.
Realizing they were about to be caught, Diddy leapt up. He grabbed one of the water guns and started to spray the Kremlings. The startled lizards were blinded for a moment by the stream of water. The three Kongs climbed from the booth and were back on the run. Near the end of the midway, Dixie spotted another booth. In this one, rocks were supposed to be thrown at a line of monkeys climbing plastic tree. The monkeys in this booth looked much more like real monkeys than those in the water squirting booth. This gave Dixie an idea. The Kongs jumped into the booth, they climbed onto the plastic tree, holding as still as they could. When the Kremlings arrived, they stared at the tree full of monkeys for several tense minutes. "We're getting away with it," thought Diddy. He strained to hold his pose. The tension was broken by Cruncha, who picked up one of the rocks. "Hey," he said, getting distracted from the chase. "I've never played this game before. I'm going to try it. I'm going for the old monkey. He looks just like one of those Kongs we were chasing." Then Cruncha fired a rock at Cranky, hit him right in the head. "Yow!" yelped Cranky as he fell from the tree. "This is a good game," said Cruncha. "Those fake monkeys are very lifelike. They even have sound effects." Diddy and Dixie jumped from the tree to see if Cranky was all right.
It just grazed me,
Whispered Cranky.
I'm fine, but it looks like we were caught.
"Maybe not," said Diddy. He quickly grabbed one of the stuffed Kremlings that were given out as prizes. He then put on the carnival barker's straw hat he found under the counter. Stepping up to the Cruncha, he handed him the stuffed Kremling. "Nice shot there, son!" exclaimed Diddy. "Here's a gift for the little Kremling at home. Care to try another throw?" Diddy handed Cruncha another rock, then slipped out of the back of the booth. Dixie and Cranky followed close behind. "Hey, boss," said one of the other Kremlings. "Not now," snapped Cruncha. "Can't you see I'm trying to win another prize?" "But boss, those weren't fake monkeys," said the Kremling. He was growing frustrated with his leader's thick-skulled ways. He knew that Cruncha was in charge because of his muscles and his invincibility, but not for his intelligence or leadership qualities. "Those are the Kongs we're chasing!" It took another few seconds for this concept to sink in. Then Cruncha got angry. "Nobody makes a fool out of Cruncha," he bellowed. "It's too late to say that," the other Kremling said under his breath. The Kongs had already slipped from the midway. They were wending their way through the crazy Kremlin, trying to find a way out. "Let's take the secret underground passage," said Cruncha. It was one of his rare good ideas. The Kremlings made way to the large rock not far from the midway. Cruncha used his tremendous strength to lift a rock. Beneath it, a tunnel led into the ground. The Kremlings hurried into the tunnel. Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky had come to a group of buildings right in the middle of the amusement park. "I don't see any exits," said Dixie. "We seem to have lost the Kremlings, but how do we get out?" "You don't get out," boomed a deep Kremling voice from behind them. The Kremlings had reappeared at the other end of the underground tunnel. It led out through a false tree trunk right next to where the Kongs were standing. Diddy spotted a sign on one of the buildings. "In there!" he shouted. "Quickly!" The Kongs dashed into the building marked House of Mirrors. Once inside, they found themselves in a baffling maze of glass. "Let's stay together," Diddy said. "If we split up, we may never find each other again." They started to make their way through the passages. All the Kremlings had to do was wait for the Kongs to come back out of the building. But Cruncha was so furious at having been fooled that he dashed into the House of Mirrors. He ordered his troops inside with him. Within seconds, the Kremlings were hopelessly lost inside the glass maze. "I see one!" shouted Cruncha. He spotted Diddy just a few feet in front of him. "I got you now, monkey!" he raged. Cruncha charged it. Cruncha charged at Diddy. Only it wasn't Diddy he was racing toward. It was Diddy's reflection in a mirror. Cruncha hit the mirror full force. It shattered into 1,000 pieces. "Missed me!" taunted Diddy. He stuck out his tongue and wiggled his tail at Cruncha. This made Cruncha even angrier. Again, he charged at Diddy. Once again, he smashed into a mirror image of Diddy shattering the glass. Total confusion broke out. The Kremlings stumbled around the labyrinth of mirrors. They bashed into glass and each other. Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky slowly and carefully found their way through the maze and quietly slipped out the back of the door of the building. The Kongs raced off and began looking again. Here we got a nice little illustration here. This is Cruncha smashing the mirrors. Angrily. Or way out of the park. Here, what was that last line? The Kongs raced off and began looking again for a way out of the park. Good move, Diddy, said Dixie. They could be in there bumping into mirrors for hours.
On the other hand,
Began Cranky, pointing behind them.
look,
Cruncha and the other Kremlings were emerging from the House of Mirrors. They seemed more determined than ever. How did they get through the labyrinth so quickly? Wondered Diddy. They were totally lost in there. Inside the House of Mirrors, Cruncha had grown frustrated. He had smashed every mirror in the building. When he finished, he was standing in a big open warehouse with shards of mirrored glass piled around him on the floor. Steaming mad, Cruncha then led the Kremlings out the back door to continue the chase. Cranky was getting worn out from all the running and chasing.
I'm not gonna make it.
He told Diddy and Dixie.
You two had better leave me.
Don't be ridiculous, Cranky, Diddy replied. We came together, we'll leave together. We gotta go find some place for you to rest.
But the Kremlings are closing in,
said Cranky. He was huffing and puffing out of breath. There, shouted Dixie. We can hide in that old abandoned roller coaster. There it is. I was waiting for this. Just ahead of them loomed the rickety-looking wooden roller coaster. The Kongs ducked inside the tall tower, housing the ride. They sat down to catch their breath. The Kremlings, however, were not far behind. They soon burst in on the Kongs. You monkeys are just making me madder and madder, said Cruncha. So now it is time to put an end to you. Diddy and Dixie and Cranky quickly climbed in the lead car of the roller coaster. You have to catch us first, Diddy challenged. He pulled the lever that started the ride. He then broke the lever off so the Kremlings couldn't shut the coaster down. The little car containing the Kongs started moving along the tracks, heading upward. Follow them, shouted Cruncha. The Kremlings jumped into the individual cars lined up along the tracks. One by one, cars filled with the Kremlings traveled up the tracks right behind the Kongs. When Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky reached the top of the roller coaster, their car hesitated for a moment. Then it started the long plunge down. Hang on, yelled Diddy. The car began to pick up speed. Looking behind them, the Kongs saw car after car of Kremlings. Each one reached the top and then zoomed down after them. Ahead of the Kongs was even more frightening sight, the end of the tracks. The twisted metal rails just stopped dead in midair, hundreds of feet above the ground. Probably not a great idea to be smashing mirrors. Yeah, right. Here, we'll start by showing the illustration on this page, because this one makes sense. It's Cruncha hot on their heels on the roller coaster. Chapter 6.
What do we do?
Yelled Cranky.
We're gonna crash.
What about your helicopter spin, Dixie? Asked Diddy. He had to shout over the noise of the speeding car. They hurled closer to the end of the tracks. Do you think you could fly us out of here? I don't know if I could carry all of us, Dixie replied loudly. I've never tried it. At that moment, the car left the tracks. Time to try it, Dixie, called Diddy. The car began to plunge to the ground below. It's our only chance. Dixie sent her ponytail into its helicopter spin. Diddy held on to her ankles, and Cranky held on to Diddy's. The three Kongs lifted into the air just as the car crashed below them. I can't hold all three of us up, Dixie cried. She started to glide toward the ground. We're going down! Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky came coasting down to a rough but safe landing. They tumbled over one another in a pile. Then they came to a stop. Is everyone all right? Asked Diddy.
If monkeys were meant to fly, we would have wings,
whined Cranky.
Well, I guess you're okay, Cranky, said Diddy, smiling. How about you, Dixie?
I'm fine, replied Dixie. At least my helicopter spins slow to fall.
Which is more than I could say for our Kremling friends, said Diddy. Look!
The Kongs watched as the roller coaster cars containing the Kremlings went flying off the end of the tracks. One by one, they crashed to the ground below, dead. Well, that takes care of them, said Dixie. Now let's get out of this crazy place. With the Kremlings no longer chasing them, the Kongs continued their search. They soon found their way out of crazy Kremlin. A short while after leaving the park, they came to another deeply wooded area. Alright, we'll go back to the jungle. Let me get a swig of water. According to the map, said Dixie, we're in Gloomy Gulch. K. Rool's Keep is just on the other side of these woods. But it says here that the woods are haunted by spirits.
Haunted?
Scoffed Cranky.
Don't tell me you youngins believe in ghosts. That's just plain silliness.
You know what, we'll do the rain jungle, but I'm gonna change the music. We're gonna go with same music as the other scene. Do you really think so? Asked a thin voice that sounded like the wind.
Of course I think.
Cranky stopped short.
Who said that?
I did, replied a shadowy figure with glowing red eyes. The figure hovered above them.
Well, who in the name of blasted baboon bottoms are you?
Demanded Cranky. I'm Cloak, the figure said. A high, shrill laugh filled the woods. And I'm Crackle, echoed the second voice that seemed to come out of nowhere. We are the spirits of the woods.
Spirits my tail,
snorted Cranky.
There's no such thing.
The shadow figure of Cloak disappeared. Then the woods grew darker. Although it was in the middle of the afternoon, it was soon as black as midnight. Keka laughed evilly again. This time his laugh was accompanied by an eerie howling sound. Let's get out of here, said Diddy, trying not to sound frightened. Maybe those spirits are real, added Dixie, trying to remain brave.
I still don't believe it,
said Cranky.
We've got a mission to finish. Let's get a move on.
The three Kongs did their best to follow the path, but it was nearly impossible to see where they were going. Unnatural darkness now filled the forest. Diddy pulled out a flare barrel and ignited it. The glow from the burning barrel lit the way. The Kongs were soon back on the path leading through Gloomy Gulch. A huge rock suddenly rose into the air in front of them. Cackle laughed so loudly that they had to cover their ears. The floating rock landed in front of Diddy. It startled him and caused him to drop his flare. This place is giving me the creeps, said Dixie. Come on, Diddy responded. Let's keep moving. He picked up the glowing barrel and the Kongs made their way around the large boulder. A strong wind whipped up. It bent the trees almost to the ground and blew out Diddy's flare. The group struggled to move forward through the darkness. Up ahead, shouted Dixie. Look! Diddy peered up the path. He saw sunlight streaming into what looked like the end of the woods. It's just a little bit further, he urged the others. The Kongs pushed on toward the light. They were soon at the edge of the woods. They stepped from Gloomy Gulch, and suddenly it was daytime again. Ah. The sun shone brightly. The fierce winds were gone. Behind them, the woods were still covered in darkness. Before them rose a huge, forbidding fortress. K. Rool's Keep, said Diddy in a hushed voice. We made it. But now
comes the hardest part,
moaned Cranky.
Getting Donkey Kong out of there.
So now we're in the fortress. What's a good scene for this? Let's go. Oh, I just realized a better scene I could have used for the chip in the last scene. Well, that's okay. We'll go back to the cave, I think. Chapter 7. Here, we'll get another swig. I should make chapters my rehydrate pause. Keeping low, but moving swiftly, Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky made their way to the base of the huge fortress. There were several entrances to K. Rool's keep. Each one was guarded by 2 Kremlings.
How do we get past those guards?
Whispered Cranky. I'm working on it, replied Diddy. Over the course of their journey, Diddy had come to think of himself as the leader of the little team. His earlier adventures with Donkey Kong had been learning experiences, but this rescue mission had given him the confidence he needed to feel like a true leader. Diddy now faced the greatest challenge of his young life, to get into the heavily guarded fortress and escape safely with Donkey Kong. Diddy's thoughts were interrupted by the loud laughter of the guards at the nearest entrance.
So what's Rule going to do with that big monkey he's got chained up in the top of the keep?
Asked one guard. He was laughing at Donkey Kong's predicament.
I think he's waiting for those other monkeys to bring him all the bananas,
replied the second guard.
Although why he wants bananas is beyond me. I can't stand the things. Give me strawberries for my cereal any day.
I mean, I guess some reptiles definitely do eat fruits. It's not totally out of line. It's not right for crocs, though. So Donkey Kong's chained up at the top of the keep, whispered Dixie from her hiding place nearby. At least we know where he is. This is going to be tougher than I thought, said Diddy. We're going to have to make it all the way to the top, but I've got an idea on how we can begin. Diddy explained his plan to the others. Then Cranky stepped out from their hiding place.
Hey you,
he shouted.
Gremlin guards, I'm here to deliver the bananas to K. Rool. They're right over here.
One of the guards stepped away from the entrance. He shuffled over to Cranky.
Oh yeah, monkey? Where are they?
He asked.
Over here, come on,
said Cranky. He led the guard farther away from the entrance.
How far is it?
Asked the guard.
Not far,
replied Cranky.
Just follow me.
Cranky led the guard to a spot just out of view of the entrance. He stepped under a large tree.
Do I get it now?
Asked the guard.
You betcha,
replied Cranky.
Now!
Then he dropped from a tree branch just above the guard. He pounced into the guard's head with a double jump move that Donkey Kong had taught him. It knocked out the guard. Got a nice little illustration of exactly this taking place. Although this is supposed to be further away from the gate, but you know what? Oh wait, I guess he's bonking the other guy. Oh, I didn't understand. Well. Is it this one? Yeah, it was this one. Right, we're on the next page. Meanwhile, back at the entrance's keep, Dixie... Oh, that's what it is. Dixie sprang into action. A few moments after the first guard had disappeared from sight, Dixie flew at the remaining guard. Her ponytail helicopter spin attack hit him from behind. The unsuspecting guard tumbled to the ground. Seconds later, Diddy and Cranky returned. They quickly tied up the guards with vines and put a gag in his mouth. Nice work, Dixie, said Diddy. He grabbed the guard's keys. Time for the fun to begin. Kongs entered the keep. They found themselves in front of a huge stairway that seemed to rise forever. Peering up from the steps, the Kong saw level after level. It sure looks like a long way to the top, said Dixie. Then let's get moving, replied Diddy. He was trying to keep everyone focused. The first level they came to was the chain link chamber. In order to proceed any higher, they had to climb a 100-foot high chain link fence. No problem for monkeys like us, said Diddy. The 3 Kongs scrambled onto the fence, but when they were halfway to the top, a Kremling named Cannon appeared. He prepared to fire his huge gun at the climbing Kongs.
Nobody gets past Cannon,
he shouted. His first cannonball ripped a hole in the fence just above Diddy's head. Spread out, said Diddy. He can't get all 3 of us at once. Using their natural monkey agility, Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky moved sideways along the fence. They split up, taking 3 separate paths. Cannon continued to fire, but the Kongs managed to scramble around each hole he made. They soon met at the top of the fence, where they were all able to move to the next level. Back in the stairs, they passed an innocent-looking barrel. Suddenly, a Kremling named Clobber burst out of it. Clobber slammed Diddy, then bounced off the wall. Next, he rammed into Dixie. She only managed to keep her balance by grabbing onto the stair railing with her tail. As Clobber prepared to attack Cranky, Diddy set off a smoke screen barrel. The stairway filled with a thick haze.
Hey,
shouted Clobber.
I can't see anything.
That's the idea.
Said Cranky. He tripped Clobber with his cane. The Kremling rolled down the stairs and disappeared from view. Is everyone okay? Asked Diddy when the smoke cleared. Fine, replied Dixie.
How many more darn levels are there in this place?
Moaned Cranky. I don't know, said Diddy, but I'm sure the going doesn't get any easier. The three Kongs sped up the stairs. At the next level, they were confronted by two of the most dangerous Kremlings yet. Crook, with his rocket hook hands, and Cutlass, with his two razor-sharp swords, stepped out to block their way.
You look like you could use a shave, old monkey,
said Cutlass. He swung his right-hand sword right at Cranky's chin. Cranky reacted quickly, lifting his cane to block the blow. The sword missed him, but sliced his cane in two. No! Crook fired one of his rocket hooks at Dixie. She spun her ponytail, lifted herself into the air, and the steely point of the hook passed just below her feet. It stuck in the far wall behind her. Next, Cutlass swung his sword at Diddy. Diddy used his superior jumping ability to leap above the arc the sword made in the air. He landed on Cutlass's head, temporarily stunning the Kremling. Meanwhile, Dixie pulled Crook's hook from the wall. She began to duel with the crafty Kremling. The sound of clanging metal rang out as the hooks clashed. Crook was stronger than Dixie, but her monkey agility enabled her to block his blows and counter with some of her own. While Cutlass was still dazed, Dizzy spun into him with a cartwheel attack. It sent the Kremling flying. Cutlass reached his arms out to stop himself from slashing into the wall, but he was still holding his swords. They hit the wall points first and stuck. Try as he might, Cutlass could not free his swords. They were deeply embedded in the wall. With no weapons to protect himself, the cowardly Kremling fled. So we've got basically this moment right when he ran out of his swords. Oops. Oh, here we go. Dixie and Crook locked hooks in a battle of strength. Dixie strained with all her might, but the stronger Kremling was starting to push the hook she was holding back toward her. Diddy and Cranky now joined her. Each one grabbed hold of Dixie's hook. Using the combined strength, the Kongs began to swing Crook in a circle. Picking up speed, they spun the Kremling around until he was off his feet. Now, yelled Dixie, let go! The three monkeys let go of the hook at the same time. Crook went flying over the stair railing to the level far below.
Now that's what I call teamwork,
said Cranky. He was proud to be part of this feisty little band. The Kongs had just one more level to get past before they reached the top, a level known as Toxic Tower. Toxic Tower lived up to his name. As soon as they entered the large stone silo, green smelly slime started pouring through the crevices in the floor. The room began to fill up with the slime like a swimming pool filling with water. Climb! Shouted Diddy. Climb as fast as you can! With the poisonous green goop spreading within inches of their feet, the Kongs climbed up the Toxic Tower. At the top was a small door. Diddy opened the door. Three friends dove through just as the green slime caught up with them. Getting to their feet, they realized that they had made it to the top of Captain Cabril's keep. There in front of them, bound in chains, sat Donkey Kong. I'm going to change the music. Ooh, you know what? Okay, I know exactly what I'll do. We're going to go to the Banana Horde. You know what? I'll leave the music as is for this one. They don't have the bananas here, but DK is the banana. Diddy! Dixie! Cranky! Exclaimed Donkey Kong. He struggled against the chains that held him. You came all this way to rescue me? Well, of course, DK, said Diddy. He sounded more grown-up than Donkey Kong had ever heard him sound before. Boy, I misread that. After all, you do the same for us.
And you came too, Pops? Added Donkey Kong.
Well, why did you think I'd let these whippersnappers get all the glory for rescuing you?
Snorted Cranky. Captain K. Rool stepped into the room. He was seething. No one had ever made it all the way to the top of the keep before. But despite his role as a leader of the Kremlings, K. Rool was basically a coward.
I'll destroy this place before... the whole place before I let you free the big monkey.
He shouted at them. Then he set off a smoke bomb and climbed a rope ladder to the roof of the keep where his croc plane was waiting. Don't worry about me, Donkey Kong told his friends. You've got to stop Rool. He's had enough firepower on that croc plane to blow up this whole fortress. If he gets the plane airborne, we're all finished. Got a nice startled K. Rool here. Banana. Cranky, you stay here. Oh, Cranky, you stay here and set Donkey Kong free, ordered Diddy. Come on, Dixie, let's go get Rool. As Diddy and Dixie scrambled up the rope ladder to the roof, Cranky lectured Donkey Kong.
Didn't I tell you that no good would come of your lazing around on the beach all day?
He began.
When I was your age, I never took a day off.
While Cranky talked, he used small explosive barrels to break Donkey Kong's chains. Donkey Kong rolled his eyes. He wondered if he might not be better off staying where he was for the rest of his life rather than endure another of Cranky's lectures. Diddy and Dixie reached the top of the roof just in time to see K. Rool's croc plane take off. We're too late, shouted Diddy. The plane rose into the air. Any second now, he's going to start bombing the keep. Let's use my helicopter spin, Dixie suggested. She revved up her ponytail. But, Diddy started to protest. I know I couldn't lift all three of us, Dixie explained, but I might be able to fly with just you and me. Let's go, said Diddy. He put his arms around her waist. The two Kongs lifted into the air. It's working, cried Dixie excitedly. Follow that croc, ordered Diddy, holding tight. A few seconds later, they caught up with the plane. Quickly sliding the door to the cockpit open, Diddy and Dixie leapt inside.
It's too late, monkeys, shouted Rool. My bombs will destroy the keep and your two friends with it.
But before Rool could hit the release lever to drop the bombs, Diddy returned Rool's smoke bomb favor by setting off a smokescreen barrel of his own. The cockpit filled with thick gray smoke. The Kremlin couldn't find the bomb release controls. Rool stumbled blindly around in the cockpit of his croc plane. Diddy decided to put him out of commission with a cartwheel attack. When he slammed into Rool, the Kremlin hit the partially open cockpit door. Captain K. Rool fell out of the plane and plunged into the ocean below. He landed with a huge splash. Diddy and Dixie looked down. They saw a group of gray shark fins circling Rool. Then the evil Kremlin leader disappeared. Oh, dang. The smoke in the cockpit finally cleared. Diddy sat down at the controls. He had been taking flying lessons from Funky Kong, the best pilot on Donkey Kong Island. Diddy guided the plane safely to a landing on the keep's roof. Donkey Kong and Cranky were safely to a landing on the keep's roof. Donkey Kong and Cranky were waiting. Nice bit of rescuing, Diddy, said Donkey Kong. He and Cranky climbed on board. Thanks, DK, said Diddy, beaming with pride. He piloted the croc plane off the roof and set course for Donkey Kong Island. On the way, Diddy and Dixie filled Donkey Kong in all the details of their adventure.
I had faith in these two youngsters all along, said Cranky. Of course, they never would have made it past the first Kremlings if I hadn't been with them.
You never change, do you, Pops?
Asked Donkey Kong.
Why should I?
Shot back Cranky.
Why mess with primate perfection?
The others laughed and settled in for the flight home. And that's it. That's book number 2. A little bit longer on this one, actually. So now we've got one book left. Where's my camera? I have so many bonus scenes set up in here. It's interesting trying to find the right thing. That whole scene of K. Rool getting eaten by sharks is a lot more violent than when it's described in text. I know, right? It sounds brutal. All right, we're gonna take another quick bathroom break, and we'll be back for the finale book. So hang tight, folks. Maybe he's been slowly getting corrupted. I don't know what all this sound is, but I don't like it. Oh! But now we have 70 lives, so it's as if none of it ever happened. Ah! 67 lives. Chris is bad? No! I'm just average. Oops. Just forget that just happened. What's that about 70 lives? Listen. Listen. Oh. Immediately, fart milk in my mouth. And then it was sweet. And I was like, oh, maybe it was just a red herring. And then fart milk in my mouth again. Ow, 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 ow. Right, I'm poisoned. Well, that stinks. Don't I feel like a monkey's uncle? Oh, man. Oh, my God. This is right. The DK head comes through again.
Return to monkey.
We must embrace our true forms. Monkey brain.
Oh. Oh. I did walk. Oh, maybe I didn't walk past it. This is okay. This is a dead end. I don't see nothing on the ceiling. Oh, I don't like this one bit. Xanthos ashes. Okay, that is definitely a new thing. Everything's fine. Now we're good. I'm happy.
Your bonk daddy has arrived.
Wait. Did it work? There. Oh, there's. Oh, thanks. Well, at least he won't be a problem. Is it really worth it? I could do it.
It wasn't worth it.
Man. This guy's hard. Making the announcement right at midnight. Oh man. Hashtag best timeline. You died again. Prove it. Perfect amount of letters.
Next time on ACTV.
There's the banner of our game. We hunt every shiny. Bought one on the bridge. I think I've only aggroed this one. Oh, actually, I do remember. Ow! Oh, I'm not that. Well, that's why we got the Ring of Sacrifice. Ow, damn it. Shit! There's another one! Oh, he's going back! Of course he came back. It's a ball of undead monsters. Wait, is he? Frosty? I think he was. Knock it off. Whoa. All right, we're back and ready for more. All right, so the big finale. This is Donkey Kong Country, Rumble in the Jungle. This one, yeah, they don't have dates on here. I really thought they would. Well, maybe it would be more. Oh, this is copywritten 1995. Okay, so it might be, honestly, even earlier. Yeah, what was the first one? I know these all came out pretty close to each other. Yeah, these are all copywritten 1995. Maybe Michael Titelbaum just like made all these all at once and was like, yeah, I got my deal with Scholastic, that's all I need. But this one looks like we're going back to the Diddy and DK duo. In fact, the like screenshot or like the cover art almost looks like it could be a screenshot out of the TV show. Almost. Ready to rumble? Donkey Kong, the world's coolest gorilla, is back. But something weird is going on in Big Ape City. Whoa, Big Ape City. Well, I wonder if that's just the name of DK's town. An abandoned jungle town that is suddenly crawling with evil Kremlings. Oh, now the Kremlings have captured one of Donkey Kong's best friends. Can Donkey Kong save his friend in time? They're not gonna take Diddy, are they? I guess they could. Is the Chris shirt tonight a Mario Sunshine design? Yeah, it sure as heck is. Where's my camera? Wait. It says Delfino. Oh, and then island on the bottom. I can't sit all the way up. I have a puppy chin on my lap. I can't disrupt this sweet boy's slumber. That's awesome. Oh, thank you. It's definitely one of my favorite shirts. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's one of my ones that like kind of stretched out over time. So at a certain point, I almost start swimming in it, but it's not too bad. But I love the Delfino Island design. Got it back when the game came out? No, I got this from the Yeti, actually. One of my favorite shirt websites. I even have like a mug with their mascot. But Yeti's great. They'll do a lot of like officially brand or licensed things, but they'll do a lot of like this is definitely not officially licensed, but you can tell exactly what game it's from. And they're always clever like this. A lot of the artists that submit designs there are good. And they're like almost local to me. They're out in, well, they used to be out in Aurora, which was pretty close-ish enough to where I used to live. I think they're cool. Anyway. Donkey Kong Country, Rumble in the Jungle. By Michael Titelbaum. Chapter 1. The morning sun glimmered brightly over Donkey Kong Island. Standing under his treehouse, Donkey Kong looked up through the branches and smiled. "It's a beautiful day for flying," he said to Diddy Kong, the young monkey standing next to him. "I can't wait," replied Diddy excitedly. "I've been looking forward to this for weeks." Suddenly, the quiet of the jungle morning was shattered by the sound of an airplane engine roaring overhead. "There he is!" shouted Diddy, pointing straight up. "Look!" Donkey Kong looked up and spotted the plane. The custom-built flying machine looked like an oversized barrel that had sprouted wings and a tail. Oh, this illustration's great. The plane looped and then dove straight to the ground. "Something's wrong!" cried Diddy. "He's going to crash!" Donkey Kong and Diddy ran for cover as the plane continued to plunge toward the ground. At the last possible second, the flying barrel pulled out of its dive and coasted into a smooth landing, right in front of the two Kongs. The cockpit door opened, and out stepped the pilot, Funky Kong. Here, I'll show you the illustration before we move on. It literally looks like an airplane. Like that just got combined with a barrel. I was so hoping we'd get to use this scene.
Just surfing the wind currents, dudes,
said Funky Kong.
nothing to get upset about. Stay mellow, stay cool.
Donkey Kong cleared his throat.
We knew that,
He said,
Funky Kong, I'd like you to meet my little buddy Diddy. Hey there, dude,
said Funky.
ready for your ride?
Diddy hesitated for a second, thinking about the landing Funky had just made.
It's okay, Diddy,
said Donkey Kong.
I've flown with Funky a lot, and I'm still around to talk about it. In fact, Funky's business is taking folks from place to place in Donkey Kong Island. He's got lots of experience in the air.
Diddy put aside his fears and headed for the barrel plane.
Here you go, Donkey,
said Funky, handing him a walkie-talkie.
You can use this to talk to us while we're zooming through the sky.
Just then, a voice called out from behind them.
Hold on a vine-swinging minute.
It was Cranky Kong, Donkey Kong's granddad.
What in the name of monkey madness do you think you're doing?
Diddy's going on his first plane ride ever, Pops,
explained Donkey Kong.
I hate flying,
snapped back Cranky Kong.
Why, if apes were meant to fly, we'd have wings. Yes, sir. I like it right here on the ground. And if you had any sense, you'd stay put with your feet planted firmly on the jungle floor.
I'll be okay, Cranky, said Diddy. Funky's a great pilot.
The coolest of the cool, little dude,
said Funky.
Hop in.
As Cranky continued to complain about how much he hated flying, Diddy climbed into the barrel plane, followed by Funky. Diddy's heart pounded with excitement as Funky started up the engines.
Hang on, said the pilot. We're out of here.
With a powerful whoosh that practically knocked Cranky and Donkey Kong over, the barrel plane took off. It soared above the trees and into the sky. Woohoo! Shouted Diddy, looking down at the jungle beneath them. Donkey Kong heard him on the walkie-talkie.
How you doing, little buddy?
Asked Donkey Kong. Diddy's voice came crackling through the walkie-talkie speaker.
This is great! I could see the whole island from here. Wow!
Funky took Diddy on a wild ride through the sky, looping the loop, plunging down until they were just above the treetops, and then pulling out of the dive at the last minute and soaring straight up.
This is so cool!
Diddy shouted as the world rushed past him in a blur.
I told you you would be,
said Donkey Kong from the speaker on the cockpit's dashboard.
Hey, Donkey, said Diddy. I can see the snow-covered mountains in the ocean, the tree top down, even the old ruins.
Better to see some of those places from the air than to be in them for sure,
said Donkey Kong. Off in the distance, Diddy spotted what looked like a huge city.
What's that?
He asked, pointing to the buildings that made up the city's skyline.
That used to be the biggest city on Donkey Kong Island, explained Funky. It's called Big Ape City.
What's it called in Mario Odyssey? New Donk City. But I think this might be the same city that was, well, maybe it still is in Donkey Kong Country. I'm thinking of the city in Donkey Kong Land, but maybe that is just a different city. Once again, Donkey Kong's voice came from the dashboard.
Lots of folks on the island used to live there, but over the years, more and more of them moved out. They moved into the jungle, caves, treetops, mountains, all over. The city fell into ruins. It's been completely abandoned for years and years.
Yeah, I think it is just the ruins. Here we got a nice little illustration here of a Funky flying. Oh yeah, by the way, we're officially starting the vote for the next Chronostream, like the full Chronostream, not even the mini one. Because tonight we're starting Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and that was the game. So we're drawing the winner once we beat that game. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, said Diddy. Well, if no one lives there anymore, how come I see smoke and lights coming from the city?
You got me, little dude.
replied Funky. He pulled out his binoculars and peered into the distance.
Diddy's right, Donkey Kong. Looks like something's happening down there. See black smoke. Pretty weird.
Let's go check it out, said Diddy, hoping for an adventure. We could probably fly there in no time.
Put the brakes on, little dude,
said Funky, shaking his head.
I don't go looking for trouble, and most of the time, it doesn't come looking for me. If anything weird is going on in Big Ape City, I'm the last guy who's gonna stick his good-looking neck out to see what it is. Now just stay cool and enjoy the rest of the flight.
Diddy Kong was a bit disappointed, but he still enjoyed the rest of his first plane ride. Funky zoomed down for one of his hair-raising landings, which left Diddy squeezing his eyes shut and screaming with joy at the top of his lungs. Back on the ground, Diddy leapt from the plane, did a cartwheel, and ran over to Donkey Kong. That was the most fun I've ever had, said Diddy.
I knew you'd like flying,
said Donkey Kong, smiling.
Bah, flying,
groaned Cranky.
a waste of time if you ask me. There's nowhere any self-respecting ape would want to go that he can't get to on his own 2 hairy feet.
Diddy turned to Funky, who had just stepped from the barrel plane. Thanks a lot, Funky. That was great.
Anytime, little dude,
replied Funky.
Any old time.
Just then, a beeping came from the cockpit of the barrel plane.
They're playing my tune, said Funky. Someone must need a flight.
Funky checked in with the beeper on his plane.
I've got to go pick up a passenger on the other side of the island, explained Funky. So I'm out of here. Stay cool and catch a wave if you can, dudes.
Funky hopped back into the barrel plane and took off. As the plane disappeared from view, Donkey Kong realized that he still had Funky's walkie-talkie.
Whoops,
said Donkey Kong.
I forgot to give it back.
Why don't you turn it on and tell him, suggested Diddy. Donkey Kong flipped on the walkie-talkie.
Hey, Funky, forget something?
I guess I did, replied Funky, hearing Donkey Kong's voice out of his cockpit dashboard.
I'll pick it up after I make this passenger run. Oh, by the way, tell Diddy the route I gave him to take my passenger will bring me right back over Big Ape City. I'll take a peek down for him as I fly over.
A short while later, the walkie-talkie beeped. Funky's voice came through, but now it was very faint and interrupted by loud static.
I'm over Big City. Very weird. Flying pigs.
Did he say flying pigs? Asked Diddy.
That's what it sounded like to me,
said Donkey Kong.
But it's hard to hear him through all this static. Pigs swarming around the plane,
came Funky's voice again. Then the Kongs heard a terrible sound from the walkie-talkie speaker.
Sounds like gunshots or explosions,
said Donkey Kong, growing alarmed.
Been hit, going down, going to crash.
Then the speaker went silent. Ooh, boy, oh boy. I think this might be based on Donkey Kong Land. That's really funny if that is the case. Chapter 2. Oh, drink some water. Funky! Cried Diddy. Something terrible has happened to Funky. Someone shot down his plane over Big Ape City.
But there's not supposed to be anyone in Big Ape City,
replied Donkey Kong. I told you I saw smoke and lights, said Diddy.
We've got to find Funky, said Donkey Kong. That's all there is to it.
Go,
whined Cranky.
What do you mean, go? To Big Ape City? Just how in the jolly jungle do you think you're gonna get over there?
On my 2 hairy feet, Pops, replied Donkey Kong. Just like any self-respecting ape would do.
Now look here, you whippersnapper,
said Cranky.
Don't get wise with me.
Oh, wait, I've got an even better scene for this.
Why, when I was your age, I once walked from the top of the snow-capped mountains to the...
It's okay, Pops,
said Donkey Kong.
You don't have to come along.
Diddy and I will go. Then turning to Diddy, he asked,
With you with me, little buddy?
Anytime, anywhere, Donkey, said Diddy.
Just a fine swinging minute,
shouted Cranky.
Do you really think I'm gonna let you go off on another adventure alone?
Thanks, Pops.
said Donkey Kong. I knew I could count on you. Donkey Kong loaded his backpack with a variety of miniature barrels. The barrels could do different things. Some could even explode. You never know when you're gonna run across a Kremling or two. Kremlings were evil lizard-like creatures who had come to live on Donkey Kong Island. They stole bananas from the Kongs, and their factory had polluted the island's air and water. Donkey Kong, Diddy, and Cranky had blown up the factory, but the Kremling leader, King K. Rool, had escaped along with his henchmen. Kind of. Kremlings still infested the island and were a constant annoyance to the Kongs. When all their supplies were packed, the three Kongs set off through the jungle. Soon, the Kongs reached the treetop town at the edge of the jungle. Treetop Town was made of 2 wooden platforms here. We'll go to that. And huts built high in the trees. It was once an active ape community, but when the Kremlings began their assault of Donkey Kong Island, they overran Treetop Town and now lived there themselves. We'll have to move quickly and quietly under the platforms, whispered Donkey Kong.
I was navigating these jungles when you were knee-high to a baby baboon,
said Cranky.
I'll lead.
No, Pops, wait, said Donkey Kong, but it was too late. Cranky charged forward and tripped over a low vine. Suddenly, floodlights burst on, lighting up the whole area. A loud alarm blared a warning to the Kremlings above.
The darn place is booby-trapped,
shouted Cranky as he got to his feet. That vine you tripped over must have triggered the alarm, said Donkey Kong. Kremlings dropped down from the platforms. Kremlings dropped down from the platforms, and the Kongs were quickly surrounded by evil beasts.
Get them,
yelled one of the Kremlings, and they charged the Kongs. Donkey Kong grabbed an overhead vine and sprang into action. He swung into 3 charging Kremlings, feet first, scattering them like bowling pins. Diddy went into his cartwheel attack, springing off his hands and toppling 2 more Kremlings. Even Cranky got into the act, slamming several Kremlings on their feet with his cane, sending them hobbling into the bushes. Donkey Kong dropped down off his vine and found himself surrounded by 5 more Kremlings. Here, guys, he said, let me give you a hand. Donkey Kong opened his palm and slammed the ground, using all of his incredible strength. His hand slap attack shook the jungle floor like an earthquake, and the Kremlings went flying off in all directions. Donkey Kong looked around. There were no Kremlings left standing. Suddenly, the Kongs heard loud booms from above. The Kremlings are firing their barrel cannons, shouted Donkey Kong. Run for cover! Dangerous barrels showered down all around the Kongs as they dashed under the dense rubber tree. Those cannons are up too high to reach by throwing our barrels, said Diddy. Donkey Kong reached up and pulled down a low branch of the rubber tree. This should do the trick, he said, taking a TNT barrel from the pack. Donkey Kong pulled the branch back as far as it would go. He placed the TNT barrel at the end of the branch and let it go. The branch whipped around, flinging the barrel up toward the platforms. Fire 1! Yelled Diddy. The TNT barrel sailed right into the mouth of the barrel cannon and exploded, destroying the cannon. Using the branch, Donkey Kong flung barrel after barrel up at the platforms until the cannons had been destroyed. I don't know if you could hear him, but Tenzin is snoring loudly. It's a bit of a chaotic illustration, but, you know, Kremlings getting bopped by explosions. Oh no, there's DK slamming. Way to go, Thriller Gorilla, said Diddy, jumping to give Donkey Kong a high five. Not bad for a youngster, added Cranky. Come on, said Donkey Kong, let's get out of here. The Kongs moved past the treetop town and soon came to the edge of the jungle. As they proceeded, the terrain got more and more rocky. They soon found themselves at the base of the snow-capped mountains. Cranky began to complain. If you think I'm climbing over this blasted blizzard hill, you've got another thing come... Cranky stopped at the sound of the distant rumbling. What in the name of monkey madness is that? He whispered. The Kongs looked up and saw tons of snow racing down the side of the mountain above them. Avalanche! They all screamed together. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Chapter 3.
There's nowhere to run, said Diddy in a panic. There's too much snow.
We're finished,
cried Cranky. Maybe not, said Donkey Kong. He had spotted a tiny gap between two boulders at the base of the mountain. In there, he said, pointing. Hurry! The three Kongs squeezed through the small opening.
It's pitch black in here,
complied Cranky when they were all inside.
I can't see my big hairy hand in front of my face.
Before anyone could respond, a deafening crash blocked out all other sound. It went on like the roar of the ocean. Wave after wave of snow pounded against the boulders that separated the Kongs from certain doom. Oh, stupid bots. Okay, anyway, where were we? And then it was over. The silence was eerie. Everyone all right? Asked Donkey Kong.
Oh, just fine,
said Cranky.
We're trapped behind 1,000,000 tons of snow in total darkness. Never been better.
Donkey Kong knew from his granddad's familiar complaining that he was not hurt. I'm okay, Donkey, said Diddy Kong. That a boy, replied Donkey Kong. Now, let's see where we are. Donkey Kong pulled a homemade flare from his backpack. It was made from a coconut with rope wicks stuck in the top. This light won't last long, but it will show us what this place looks like. Donkey Kong lit the flare. The light revealed the dank walls dripping with water and a high ceiling overhead. In front of them stretched a wooden walkway with a metal railing leading deeper into the mountain. This must be one of those entrances to the caves and tunnels that led through the mountain, exclaimed Donkey Kong. We're not trapped after all. We just need to find the right passageway to lead us to Big Ape City. We may actually have found a shortcut.
Yeah, but what happens when the flare burns out?
Asked Cranky Kong.
The last time we were in these caves, we made friends.
Oh, dang it. I saw Squawks and I thought he was talking. The last time we were in these caves, we made friends with Squawks the parrot, explained Donkey Kong. He always carries a high-powered flashlight. He led us through the caves and the tunnels once before. Maybe he can help again. Donkey Kong took a deep breath. Diddy and Cranky knew what was coming, so they put their fingers in their ears. Donkey Kong let out a tremendous yell, using all of his amazing lung power. His cry for help echoed throughout the twisting, turning tunnels inside the mountain. As the powerful sound finally faded out, so did the flare, leaving the apes in the dark once again. Several tension-filled minutes passed. In the distance, a light flickered. Over here! Called Donkey Kong. Squawk! Came the reply as the light moved closer. Squawks the parrot appeared, carrying his flashlight. Thanks for coming, Squawks, said Donkey Kong. I'm glad you heard my call.
Are you kidding, Donkey Kong?
Asked Squawks.
I'm sure that cry was heard clear through the other side of the mountain. Hi, Cranky. Diddy, what brings you back into the caves?
The Kongs quickly explained their mission to find Funky. Squawks agreed to show them the quickest route through the mountain to bring them to Big Ape City. He led the way with his flashlight. After a long underground journey, Squawks finally brought the apes to the caves exit closest to the Big Ape City. After thanking Squawks, who returned to the caves, Donkey Kong, Diddy, and Cranky stepped outside. Before them rose the skyline of Big Ape City.
I haven't been here since I was your age, Donkey,
said Cranky Kong.
Even then it was decaying and dangerous. Still brings back memories. I remember battling a short plumber named Mario and...
There it is. Pops, interrupted Donkey Kong. I hate to interrupt, but we're here to find Funky. Remember? We better get into the city.
All right.
Oh, but I want to hear this story. Grumbled Cranky. The Kongs marched ahead and were soon in Big Ape City. They expected to find an empty, lifeless place. Instead, the city was bursting with activity. When Donkey Kong, Diddy, and Cranky saw this, they gasped at the sight. Gremlings, whispered Donkey Kong, guiding the others behind a building so they would not be spotted. The entire city's filled with gremlings!
Let's see here. We probably can just do... Let's do this one, because I remember in the game there were still plenty of plants and stuff. It's overgrown. It's kind of ruins in the jungle, right? Chapter 4. Big Ape City was once the center of culture, entertainment, and business on Donkey Kong Island, but the city was abandoned many years ago. Now the Kremlings, who lost their factory thanks to the Kong's heroic efforts, had taken over the abandoned city. Donkey Kong, Diddy, and Cranky stood at the dirty street in the city next to a warehouse, watching Kremlings scurry everywhere. "They're using the city as their new base of operations," said Donkey Kong. "But why are they here?" A large Kremling cart being pulled by a team of Kremlings rumbled down the street and stopped at the warehouse loading dock. The Kongs ducked into the doorway to remain out of view. Plump, one of King K. Rool's henchmen, jumped out of the cart and began barking orders.
I need this cart loaded and back to the factory within an hour,
shouted Clump.
King K. Rool wants the new factory completed by the end of the week, and we're way behind schedule, so move it.
Kremlings ran out into the loading dock and frantically began loading equipment into the cart. Nearby, the Kongs were filled with dread by what they had just heard. "They're rebuilding the factory here in Big Ape City," whispered Donkey Kong. "That must be why I saw smoke while I was up in Funky's plane." "I think we need to get a better look on what we're dealing with here," said Donkey Kong. "Follow me." Donkey Kong quickly tiptoed around the side of the warehouse, followed by Diddy and Cranky Kong. "I hate these adventures," grumbled Cranky as he hurried to keep up. Kong business? Like Kongs in suits on Wall Street? In other words, stonksies Kong? I like that one. That's a good one. So it sounds like this might have actually was supposed to have been the second book, but they don't really denote that anywhere. And everything that I looked up made it sound like this was the last book, but that's okay. I mean, this one may have released last, and it's like bridging the story too, for all we know. Or Donkey Stonks. Ooh, I like Donkey Stonks. Although I guess, oh boy, but I guess you probably want it to be, yeah, Donkey Stonks is the best. Maybe Donkey Kongs. Nah, it's too far separated at that point. Donkey Stonks. That's the one that I'm gonna put my pick on. Donkey Kong led them on a climb up a far wall and onto the warehouse roof. From that point, high above the street, a horrible sight greeted them. A short distance away in the heart of the city, an enormous factory was being constructed. This factory was 10 times the size of the one that the Kongs had destroyed. Although it was not yet completed, the factory's smokestacks were already pouring huge amounts of pollution into the air. If they finish that thing, it will release enough pollution to poison the entire island, said Donkey Kong. I say we go to that factory and blow it up like we did the other one, said Diddy, pounding his fist into his palm. It may not be that easy this time, said Donkey Kong, pointing at the factory. Look! The Kongs could see the Kremlings patrolling the entire outside of the factory. It looks like they've beefed up security big time. Oh, this is totally 100% following Donkey Kong Land. Without a doubt. It's too bad that they're not taking us to Kremlantis. Agrees. Donkey Stonks flows better? Exactly, yeah, that's how I feel. Below in the warehouse loading dock, 2 Kremlings struggled with a heavy piece of equipment.
What is this thing anyway?
One Kremling asked the other.
It weighs a ton. I don't know,
replied the other Kremling.
But it sure looks nasty. The large metal box they
carried was filled with wires, electrodes, and straps. Clump overheard the 2 Kremlings.
That, for your information, is King K. Rool's truth machine. The monkey pilot we shot down has not revealed the true nature of his mission. He claims he was on his way to pick up a passenger, but this device will make him tell him the truth once we're set up at the factory.
On the warehouse's roof, the Kongs froze in fear. "They've got Funky in the factory," said Diddy. "They think he's a spy." Donkey Kong scratched his head trying to come up with a plan. "They're gonna use that horrible machine on him unless we can get him out of there." This illustration is really what's selling me on the fact that this has gotta be Donkey Kong Land. Because yeah, we were in like a legit city in Donkey Kong Land. And that's what this looks like. It doesn't look like the ruins. There we go.
And how in the name of monkey madness are you gonna do that?
Demanded Cranky. A sly smile came over Donkey Kong's face. "We'll get him out on that cart," he said, pointing at the loading dock below. Cranky realized that Donkey Kong meant what Donkey Kong meant to do.
Why, back in my day, we wouldn't be sneaking around, hiding in the back of carts,
He snorted.
We'd battle the bad guys right out in the open. But you young apes wouldn't know a real adventure if it jumped up and bit you on the nose.
Donkey Kong waited until the cart was loaded. When Clump and the other Kremlings went around to the front of the cart, Donkey Kong made his move. "On 3, we jump," he said.
We what?
Cried Cranky. "Hop onto my back, Pops," said Donkey Kong. "Here we go. 1, 2, 3!" With Cranky on his back, Donkey Kong jumped from the roof. He was followed by Diddy. Using their best jungle skills, they landed as softly as they could on the back of the cart and slipped under a canvas tarp that covered the equipment just as the cart rolled away, heading for the Kremling's factory. Under the tarp, the Kongs could not have been more uncomfortable as the cart bounced along the city streets with potholes.
Something's sticking in my back,
complained Cranky. "I know, Pops," said Donkey Kong. "We're all uncomfortable, but if this works, we'll get inside the factory and we'll be able to find Funky." The cart rolled on and soon came to the main entrance to the factory. The guard at the gate waved Clump through and they entered the huge building. I guess let's do this. The cart came to a rest in the cargo room, and the Kongs heard Clump and his driver get off.
"Call in the work crews and get this stuff unloaded now,"
ordered Clump. The driver nodded and then ran off. Clump walked around to the back of the cart. Beneath the tarp, the Kongs could hear him breathing and snorting. Donkey Kong, Diddy, and Cranky sat holding their breaths, hoping that they would not be discovered. Then Clump grunted and left the room.
Next time you come up with a bright idea, leave it back in the jungle,
said Cranky as the Kongs climbed from the cart. "What now, Donkey?" said Diddy, stretching his legs. "We've got to find a hiding place before the work crew shows up," explained Donkey Kong. "Too late," said Diddy as the doors of the cargo room swung open and 20 Kremlings ran toward the cart. Woo boy. Chapter 5. "Down," said Donkey Kong, "under the cart. It's the only place to hide." Donkey Kong, Diddy, and Cranky crawled under the cart. They remained still as the Kremlings unloaded the equipment. Soon, all but 2 Kremlings had left.
Where does this thing go?
Asked one of the Kremlings, pointing at the truth machine.
Clump wants us to take it to that ape-pilot cell,
replied the other. The 2 Kremlings left the cargo room carrying the horrible device. The Kong scrambled from beneath the cart. "If we follow those guys, they'll lead us right to Funky," said Donkey Kong. "Come on." Keeping a safe distance behind the 2 Kremlings, the Kongs followed them through the factory. Fortunately, the cell where Funky was being held was in a remote part of the factory, so the apes could easily stay out of sight. When the Kremlings reached Funky's cell, the Kongs jumped into action. Diddy jumped in the air and landed on a Kremling's head, sending the evil creature to his knees.
"Hey!"
shouted the other Kremling.
"Where did you monkeys come from?"
"I'm not telling," said Donkey Kong, "but I can tell you where you're going, right into that wall." Donkey Kong curled up his unstoppable barrel roll. into his unstoppable barrel roll. He rolled into the second Kremling, sending him bouncing off the ceiling, then 2 walls, and finally the floor where he passed out. Diddy came down for a second jump on his Kremling's head, and the big green creep joined his buddy in Slumberland. Funky ran to his cell door. "Man, I'm glad to see you dudes," said the laid-back pilot. "How did you get into this uncoolest of places?" Donkey Kong quickly told Funky of their journey. Cranky added the part about the uncomfortable ride in the Kremling's cart. "But enough talk for now," said Donkey Kong. "It's time for action." He pulled a mini TNT barrel from his pack. "Diddy, Pops, get back. Funky, move away from the door." Donkey Kong tossed the barrel at the cell door. It exploded, tearing the locked door off its hinges. "Thanks, big dude," said Funky as he joined the others and gave Donkey Kong a high five.
If you two are through congratulating yourselves, I have a suggestion to make,
said Cranky.
"Let's run! The little firecracker you set off is bound to attract some attention."
As the 4 apes ran back down the metal corridor, Funky filled in the others with what had happened to him. "First, I was attacked by a squadron of flying pigs," began Funky.
"I thought that's what you said over the walkie-talkie," said Diddy.
"Those pigs must be the Cram Dude's newest experiment," continued Funky Kong. "Then cannonballs came out of nowhere and hit my plane. I landed right next to the factory. As the Kremlings took me prisoner, I overheard that it was some kind of automatic defense system they set up to shot me down. They had nothing against me personally. After all, who could? They just hate all Kongs, so they threw me in that cage."
"Were you hurt, Funky?"
"I'm fine," replied Funky, "but my barrel plane got pretty messed up. I think I could fix it, but I didn't have time to check out the damage. I heard them say that they hauled my plane to the cargo room 7. I've got to get there and see what kind of repairs the old heap needs." The Kongs ran the corridor face to face with a squadron of Kremlings, led by another of their leaders, Critter. Is Critter? No, I don't think Critter was one of the big strong guys. "I'm afraid you won't be seeing anything except inside of your cell again," snarled Critter. "And this time you'll have company." What is this? Oh, this is the cell door getting blasted open. Shows a lot of grungy voices, I guess. My throat is like, stop it. That's not so bad. Because I've reached 69k channel points. Ah, yeah, nice. All right, chapter 6. "We're outnumbered," thought Donkey Kong. "Have to distract them." He dropped down, opened his palm, and slapped the hard steel floor. The Kremlings lost their balance and toppled over one another. "Time for some masterful monkey maneuvers," shouted Donkey Kong. While the guards were still off balance, Donkey Kong jumped from the Kremling head to Kremling head, knocking out the startled lizards. Diddy joined in, cartwheeling into 3 Kremlings at once. Donkey Kong pulled a bunch of barrels from his pack and handed a few to Diddy and Funky. Although Funky Kong was usually too laid back to fight, he got into the spirit of things and hurled the barrels, smashing Kremling after Kremling. Diddy climbed up the wall and hung from the ceiling, dropping barrels from above. "Bombs away!" he shouted as his barrels bashed more Kremlings. The tide of battle had turned toward the Kongs when suddenly Critter and another Kremling grabbed Cranky. "Stop your assault or the old ape gets it," shouted Critter.
Who are you calling an old ape, you big green toad?"
yelled Cranky as he elbowed Critter in the stomach and bopped the other Kremling on the head with his cane.
"Why, I was stomping on the likes of you and you were knee-high to a salamander."
Donkey Kong smiled. "Still got it, Pops," he said as he tucked into a barrel roll and took out the remaining Kremlings. "Nice going, dudes," said Funky when the battle was over. The Kongs raced through the factory, keeping out of sight. When they arrived at the cargo room holding Funky's barrel plane, they saw 2 Kremlings guarding the door. Nice times 1,000. Donkey Kong pulled 2 barrels from his backpack and handed one to Diddy. I'll take the one on the left, said Donkey Kong. Ready when you are, said Diddy. From their position down the hall, the Kongs tossed the barrels at the guards. The barrels struck, and the Kremlings fell to either side of the door. Time for a little brute strength, said Donkey Kong. He put his shoulder down and charged the door, bashing it off its hinges. In the cargo room, Funky Kong ran to his damaged plane. After a quick inspection, he rejoined the others, who were standing guard at the broken door. There are a few things I can fix, said Funky, but I'm going to need a new water pump. Where are we going to get that? Asked Donkey Kong. Right here in the factory, replied Funky. Before they locked me up, the Kremlings dragged me all over the factory from one leader to another trying to figure out what to do. That sounds about right. This is Funky inspecting the plane. Very nice, very nice. I saw quite a bit of the place. I also saw where they keep their supplies. So let's go get a water pump, Donkey said. The problem is, said Funky, even if I can fly us out of here, we'll be shot down by the automatic defense system again. I'll take care of that, said Donkey Kong. Did you see where the defense system was? Funky nodded, then reached into his plane to pull out some paper and pencil. He drew 2 maps. One map shows where the supply room is. The other shows how to get the defense system control room. We'll have to split up, said Donkey Kong, taking maps from Funky and handing one to Diddy. You up to it, Diddy? You bet, said Diddy proudly. Donkey Kong turned to Cranky. Pops, I need you to stay here and help Funky in any way you can, he said.
Fine with me, grumbled Cranky. Last thing I want to do is run around this Kremling hotel.
Good, said Donkey Kong, reaching into his pack and pulling out a few barrels. Diddy, take some of these with you, just in case. Grab the water pump and meet me back here. Good luck, little buddy. Let's get moving. As Donkey Kong and Diddy left the cargo room, Funky pulled out his toolbox and got into work doing the repairs he could manage without the new parts. Cranky Kong had handed Funky the tools he needed and told the story after story of his youth. Funky nodded a lot as he worked on the plane. Donkey Kong headed toward the control room for the automatic defense system. According to the map, thought Donkey Kong, it's 8 flights up. Can't just stroll into the elevator or a stairway without getting caught, so I've got to find another way to get up there. Just then, Donkey Kong heard a group of Kremlings heading his direction. He looked around. There appeared to be nowhere to hide. Then he spotted an air vent in the wall. He pulled the metal grating off the vent, climbed up to it, and pulled the grating back from the inside. Unfortunately for Donkey Kong, the Kremlings who arrived were a work crew assigned to repair the vent he had just entered. I'll pull the grating off, you get the tools, said one of the Kremlings. Donkey Kong turned and crawled as fast as he could, moving away from the grating, going deeper into the air shaft. He kept crawling until he came to a point where the shaft split left and right. The right side was labeled Air Shaft 162 and the left side Elevator Shaft 25. I'm in luck, thought Donkey Kong. If I can reach the elevator shaft, I can just climb right up the cables until I reach the floor I need. It will be just like climbing vines back in the jungle. Donkey Kong crawled along the shaft, leading left until he came to another opening covered by a grating. Popping the grate off, he peered into the elevator shaft. Looking down, he saw the top of the elevator car several stories below. Looking up, he saw the shaft leading to the top story of the factory, some 20 floors above him. Straight ahead hung the steel cables that pulled the elevator. Donkey Kong made the short leap from the air shaft to the cables and began to climb to the 8th floor. He was halfway to his destination when he heard the noise that sent shock of fear through his body. It was a low electronic hum. He looked down and saw the top of the elevator car rushing toward him. Gonna open that up. Ooh, yeah. It was a little tighter than I thought. Chapter 7. Donkey Kong's heart was pounding furiously. He pulled himself up the metal cables, hand over hand, as fast as his arms could move. It's catching up, he thought, glancing down at the elevator. Don't look down, just climb. Don't look down, just climb. He repeated to himself over and over. With the top of the car only inches from his feet, Donkey Kong reached the 8th floor. Got to time this just right, he thought. He kicked out with his powerful legs and smashed open the door to the 8th floor. The force of the kick carried his body through the door. The elevator car zipped by, just barely missing him. Donkey Kong landed in a heap on the floor. He was breathing hard from the effort, but he had made it. He was on the 8th floor, facing the door leading to the automatic defense system. Get a nice action shot here. Ah, yeah. Good job, DK. He stood up and was immediately grabbed from behind. Next time, just take the elevator like everyone else. Next time, take the elevator like everyone else. It was Crusha, the biggest and strongest of the Kremlings. It's the end of the line for you, Kong, said the muscle-bound Kremling. I'm taking you to K. Rool. Although Crusha may have been the strongest Kremling, fortunately for Donkey Kong, he was not one of the brightest. Listen, Crusha, how would you like to really impress Rool? Asked Donkey Kong. How could I do that? Asked Crusha, growing curious, though he still kept his tight bear hug around Donkey Kong. Didn't realize he grabbed him. Did he? Oh yeah, grabbed him from behind. Oh, I see. In my backpack, written on a piece of paper, are the locations of all the Kongs on Donkey Kong Island, said Donkey Kong. Wouldn't you like to know where all the Kongs are so you can kidnap them and make your boss happy? I sure would, said Crusha excitedly. Then let go of my arms and I'll get you to the info, said Donkey Kong. Crusha loosened his hold. You know where all the Kongs are? Asked Donkey Kong, reaching into his pack. Where? Asked Crusha. In the jungle! Where else? Cried Donkey Kong, who pulled the barrel out of his backpack and tossed it at Crusha. The barrel caused Crusha to stumble, but that was all Donkey Kong needed. He barrel rolled the brute off his feet and then double jumped him until the Kremling was out cold. Good thing these Kremlings are dumber than tree stumps, thought Donkey Kong as he kicked open the door to the defense system control room. He tossed a TNT barrel into the room. You won't be shooting Funky down again anytime soon, he said, as the barrel exploded, destroying the system. Donkey Kong reached the elevator shaft. I don't like going back in here, he thought, but down has to be easier than up. He checked the floor indicator at the elevator door. The car was on the 20th floor, at the very top of the factory. I should make it down 8 floors before the car comes my way, he thought. Then he jumped onto the cables and slid back down to the air vent, crawling back inside. Donkey Kong soon reached the other end of the vent. The work crews were gone, and so he slipped back out and hurried to the plane. During this time, Diddy was on a mission of his own. He had to get the water pump for Funky's engine. The supply room Diddy needed was located at the end of a series of catwalks extending upward, level after level. The room I need is just off the 4th catwalk, he thought. But if I just stroll right into it, I'm sure to be caught. Diddy stood at the beginning of the 4th catwalk and looked up. What if I crawled along the bottom of the 5th catwalk, just above the one I needed? As long as no one looks up from the 4th or down from the 5th, I'll be all right. Diddy leaped up and caught hold of the bottom of the 5th crosswalk. The tiny holes of the metal plates were just big enough for his small fingers and toes to grip. He slowly made his way toward the supply room, pausing whenever a Kremling walked by or above or below him. When he reached the room, he waited until it was clear and then dropped down to the catwalk. Diddy tried the supply room door. It opened easily. This is lucky, he thought. Someone left it unlocked. Diddy opened the door and slipped into the room. There, doing an inventory of supplies, was Claptrap, a 4-legged Kremling with huge jaws and long razor-sharp teeth. He growled at Diddy, who immediately jumped right at the Kremling. But Claptrap was quick. He stepped out of the way of the attack just in time for Diddy to crash into the storage shelf. Boxes tumbled down on top of Diddy, who looked up to see if Claptrap up to see Claptrap charging at him, his massive jaws opened wide. Diddy pulled out a barrel that Donkey Kong had given him. Claptrap lunged right at Diddy, who struck the barrel into the Kremling's mouth and then rolled away. That's literally what this scene is. Claptrap snarled frantically. The barrel was lodged between his jaws, wedging them open. He couldn't close his mouth. As Claptrap struggled with the barrel, Diddy grabbed a water pump and left, locking the door behind him. Diddy's return trip along the bottom of the catwalk was uneventful, and the three Kongs were soon back at the barrel plane.
Nice work, dudes, said Funky. I'll have this baby back together in no time.
As Funky repaired his engine, Donkey Kong, Diddy, and Cranky stood watch at the door. Soon the plane was ready to fly.
Funky Airlines flight number 1 is leaving, announced Funky. Right now. Hop in, dudes.
I hate flying,
said Cranky as he climbed on board. Yippee! Shouted Diddy, following Cranky in. Another plane ride! As Donkey Kong stepped into the plane, a squadron of Kremlings led by Rock Croc arrived at the door.
So this is where you've been hiding. Attack!
He shouted. Chapter 8. You know what? We'll go to the banana horde for this. Donkey Kong leaped into the cockpit near to Funky, who already had the engines racing. He pulled out a TNT barrel and flung it against the far wall of the room. The barrel exploded, ripping a big hole in the wall.
You're clear for takeoff, Captain,
said Donkey Kong as Funky engaged the throttle and the plane rolled forward. Rock Croc and the others reached the plane just as it began to move, but they were too late. The barrel plane taxied out of the cargo room and took to the air.
What now?
Asked Funky Kong.
Back home?
No, said Donkey Kong. Make one more pass over the factory. With the automatic defense system down, we should be safe. I want to drop all my remaining TNT barrels onto the factory. It may not be enough to take out the whole thing, but at least we'll set them back in their construction schedule. Boy, we get some back-to-back illustrations. As Funky swung the plane around and a strange sight appeared in the sky, the Kremling's army of evil flying pigs was taking to the air. The pink pigs flapped their gray wings and headed right to the barrel plane. What do we do now? Asked Diddy.
I've got an idea,
replied Funky as the pigs drew closer.
I don't have time or the help to do it the first time, but I met those flying swine. Donkey, Diddy, get to the back of the plane. Pull out the big barrels. Banana shakes are my favorite snack. I always keep a few barrels of the stuff on board in case I'm hungry.
What in monkey madness are you planning to do?
Cried Cranky Kong.
Have a picnic with these pigs?
Nope,
replied Funky.
I'm gonna shake 'em up. Or should I say shake 'em down?
Funky pulled the plane higher to the sky. When he was directly over the pigs, he opened one of the plane's doors. Oh wait, I think we were on the banana horde. That's right. Donkey and Diddy poured gallons and gallons of banana shakes out the doors. The thick, sticky liquid covered the pigs' wings. One by one, they lost control of their ability to fly, and each pig was forced to glide down to the ground.
Nicely done, dudes, said Funky. Now let's hit this joint and motor on out of here.
Funky swung the plane around for a final TNT barrel bombing run. Suddenly, something huge and terrifying rose from behind the factory. It was a Zeppelin, a flying airship filled with a lighter-than-air gas. This was the command ship of King K. Rool. The cruel image of Rool was painted on the Zeppelin side. The massive airship fired deadly rockets at the tiny barrel plane. Only Funky's incredible skill was as a pilot enabled him to dodge the speeding rockets, which detonated all around them.
Take the plane up, Funky, said Donkey Kong. I have an idea.
Funky flew straight up over the Zeppelin. Donkey Kong stood up. The wind blew his fur. You with me on this one, little buddy? He asked Diddy. Diddy Kong was nervous. The sight of the giant Zeppelin frightened him, but he was sticking with his friend all the way. He stood up next to Donkey Kong. I'm with you, he said. Let's go. When Funky pulled directly over the Zeppelin, Donkey Kong and Diddy leapt from the plane onto the Zeppelin's huge bag. Hold on, Diddy, shouted Donkey Kong. Grab the bag tightly and follow me. Donkey Kong led the way, climbing down the side of the giant bag, followed closely by Diddy. Even for the Kongs, this was a very difficult climb. When they reached the cabin, Donkey Kong kicked open the door and the Kongs slipped inside. Funky circled overhead, out of the view of the Kremlings and their rockets. Once inside, Donkey Kong and Diddy swung into action. They took out the Kremling guards with double jumps, cartwheel attacks, and barrels left and right. As they ran through the airship, they planted time-delayed TNT barrels everywhere. At the far end of the cabin, Donkey Kong kicked open a locked door and came face to face with King K. Rool. Here we've got a nice little illustration here too. Yeah, this is totally Donkey Kong Land, without a doubt. And here I thought everyone forgot that that game even existed. Oh, no, we're on Banana Horde. This ship is going down in a matter of minutes, Rool, said Donkey Kong.
That's a shame, Kong, replied the Kremling leader, but I won't be aboard when that happens.
The powerful Kremling pushed past Donkey Kong and Diddy and ran from the room. Let the coward go, said Donkey Kong. He's just a big windbag like his ship. Donkey Kong pulled out the walkie-talkie. All said, Funky, he said into the transmitter. See you below. Donkey Kong and Diddy ran back to the door and leapt from the Zeppelin. Funky flew by below and two apes landed in the plane right on top of, the two apes landed in the plane right on top of Cranky. Why don't you watch where you're falling, yelled Cranky. Sorry about that, Pops, apologized Donkey Kong. Okay, Funky, let's fly. That thing's gonna blow any second. Funky Kong turned back toward home. Kong saw King K. Rool's escape pod blast off from the Zeppelin just as the TNT barrels exploded and the entire airship burst into flames. Look where it's going down, shouted Diddy, pointing out the window. Fiery Zeppelin plunged through the air, landing right on top of the Kremling's factory. Nice. The factory went up in a powerful explosion, putting an end to the Kremling's evil plans. We got them, cried Diddy. You were great, little buddy, replied Donkey Kong. Hey, I just realized something, said Funky. I've got to get you dudes home in a hurry. What's the rush? Asked Donkey Kong. I still have a passenger waiting for me on the other side of the island, exclaimed Funky. The Kongs all laughed as Funky Kong increased his speed and headed for their jungle home. Yay! That's all of them! That's it. These were actually really charming. I had quite a bit of fun with it. I should have definitely chosen some voices that were nicer on my throat, but to be fair, with Cranky in the first book, I didn't realize that he was going to be joining them. Ugh. I didn't forget about Donkey Kong Land. It haunts my nightmares. Donkey Kong Land was fun, but yeah, it got brutal. You know what, though? I would give it another shot playing it on an actual Game Boy and not on the Retron, because I don't know if I talked about this on stream or not, but I recently was playing Donkey Kong Country 3 just for funsies, and I was like, I'm going to 100% this because I don't think I ever have. And goodness gracious, I got a CRT set up now, and I was playing it on my original Super Nintendo, and I was having a tremendously easier time with it. So the input delay on the Retron is maybe as bad as people have been saying it was, and I shouldn't have hand-waved it. So I would try that game again. I mean, it still had some really, like, jerkish game design, because they asked you to make, like, blind jumps. But it might not have been as bad as initial impressions were. Time for bed? Good night, Chad. Thanks for hanging out, bud. GG, or should that be GB? They were good books. I like these. I'm sad that I read them in the wrong order, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, because I mean, this would have been the timeline that the game's released too. Because there's Donkey Kong Country, then Donkey Kong Land, and then Donkey Kong Country 2. Yeah, because after that, Donkey Kong Lands also just followed like the actual like Donkey Kong Country model. CRTs are the way to go, man. I believed people when they told me that CRTs were a better way of playing, old games. Well, I think it's the Retron that did the worst damage there. But I do think it's still better on the CRT as well. It's like removing both of those issues. I'm like, oh man, maybe I've just been dealing with bad input delay this whole time. Or to get any less lag than a CRT? Yeah, absolutely. But the Retron itself has a reputation. Well, I guess part of it could actually be that the Retron's also playing to a digital TV. So who knows? Maybe that's just a built-in problem with stuff like that. But anyway, we're going to set up for the next game now. Which, I guess, honestly, we could just kind of do that all here. No signal now until... Ooh, I get to wear my headphones again. Ah, yeah, baby. It's happening. I didn't think we'd be here so quick. So obviously, we're playing the Switch version of this game. This game first released on the Wii U. Pretty sure it was the Wii U. Maybe it was the Wii and Wii U? Nah, I think it was just the Wii U. We're doing the Switch version because it's basically the same game, just with some extra stuff. Here, we gotta update some stream info real quick. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Okay, this is game number, what did I say it was, 54? I mean, I have my list up. This is number 54 out of 58. Boy, we're so close to the end of the Chronostream. Okay, we'll take voice acting off and put back on, what was it, backseating? Yeah, backseating is allowed. Alright, so that's that. Gotta like really turn up the volume for myself. It's so quiet. Are we looking at audio levels? It probably could go louder. Seems awfully quiet. I didn't do a ton of setup with this, so let me know if anything sounds and looks poopy. I'm gonna go with our standard sync on this. Okay, here, I'm actually going to... Huh? Wait. Oh, the TV! The TV speakers weren't muted. I was like, wait, why do I hear sounds when my headphones are off? I'm excited for the next votes. Yeah! So, now that we're officially starting... Is that... Yes! Now that we're officially starting Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, this whole time I've been saying, once we start this game, that's when voting for the next Chronostream will open. So, the voting for the mini Chronostream is still technically open, but I'm not going to blast it anymore. But now, voting for this one is open! So I'll be sending out my normal, like, spam emails to everyone that is subscribed. But yeah, y'all can start getting your votes in. The only limitation for the standard Chronostream is that it has to have at least 2 games, and I think I updated it to have a total playtime of 30 hours. Because I thought 30 hours seemed more reasonable. If we're doing like 6-hour streams, 30 hours is 5 streams minimum for a full chrono stream. Game itself looks like it's rendering at not HD. That would be interesting. What happens if I set this to device default? Am I going to break this? Oh! Oh no. Well, that's a strange problem. I think I need to just reset the Elgato. This happens sometimes. I hope this doesn't get weird on me. It emotes quite a bit more since the last vote. Oh yeah. Now there's a question. What should I vote for? That is the magical question. Oh shoot. Might have to just like fully remove these. Alright, goodbye Elgato. We have to add a new Elgato source. I think. I mean, worst case scenario, I just reset Streamlabs. What am I looking for here? Game capture. Should be video source. Video capture device. They changed the UI on me, so now I don't know where to find anything. Hey, what's up, Mappies? How you doing, my friend? Why is it doing this? Oh, shoot. That is not right. You doing big hoss? I'm doing all right. I can't complain. We just missed us reading all the Donkey Kong novels. Oops, I'm being covered by this right now. There we go. Why is it being done? Configure video. Yeah, it's taking an... I mean, unless... No, there's no way. Right now, it thinks that it's 640 by 480, which is not what's happening here. Yeah, definitely. What happens if we do this? Do you think it'll like... Oh, boy. Well, that caused the Elgato to panic. Maybe I need to just, like, fully disable the Elgato. Started Pokemon Sword Nuzlocke, because it's been years since I did one. Ooh, nice! Oh, that's kind of exciting. Also, I appreciate you mentioning that, Skip, because I wouldn't have noticed. But how you doing, Mad Bees? Hope you're doing well. Now this is just being dumb. Okay, second plan. Well, that didn't seem to fix it. Whoops. Okay. This is going well. Maybe this is my call to action to get a new Elgato. Well, it's like, oh, son of a gun. Too good man has stream going? Not too bad. 640 by 480. What kind of DK is what DK Returns was running at, right? No, definitely not, because we're playing this on the Switch. How much weeb do you want, Chris? Full on super weeb, niche weeb, or mainstream weeb? I think I get nervous with niche weeb because that could easily be like a really long chrono stream that only a very tiny amount of people would be interested in. So we'll go mainstream weeb. Playing DKC Returns. Oh, DKC Returns. Sorry, I misread that. It was running in the Wii. Yeah, so that was probably 640 by 480. That might be right. I think you're right. All right, we're doing the old unplug everything situation. Nice. Thanks, NJ. $18 votes for Tails. Hey, all right. There are definitely some people that'd be real excited for that. Hey, take it back in. The others were Atelier and Legends of Heroes. Legends of Heroes sounds familiar, but I don't know it as very well if I do. Certainly have not played them. Super Weeb choice. Yeah, that's my guess too, but I guess I have no idea. Okay, well, we'll just try removing that again and add a new one. If this doesn't work, then I might force shut down the Elgato service running in the background. Ah, son of a gun. Okay. Yeah, let's see what happens if I do this on the task manager. Hopefully this could break or crash the stream, just in case that happens. I just want y'all to know that it was my fault. Where the heck is it? There you are, you sneaky son of a gun. Oh, it didn't stop it. Well, that's weird. Okay. And we are sure that if I... Oh. Maybe I did break it. It's just doing like a pass-through right now. Atelier was the Super Weeb one. Okay. I'll have to look into these games. I'm just kind of curious now. In a different window, did it? No. Okay, I might have to restart Streamlabs. Yeah. Okay, we'll be right back. Stream will go offline for... Oops, I had the wrong button. Stream's gonna go offline for a second, because I gotta restart Streamlabs because the Elgato's just being poopy. So we'll be right back. Hang tight. Maybe he's been slowly getting